Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Night of Genocide. Behead Itachi and kill you, Mikoto begs for mercy. Chapter 81. Grass Country. Rock Shinobi Camp. At this time, in a huge tent, all the senior members of Rock Shinobi gathered. The atmosphere was a bit solemn. Yesterday, when they arrived at the border of Fire Country, they were about to march into Fire Country in one fell swoop. But they were beaten back by Shikaku, Hiashi and others. Although, this time, Onoki almost came out in full force. High-end combat power. In addition to himself, both Jinchuriki came. In addition, his son and other elite Jonin assisted. At the beginning, Onoki thought he could easily tear apart the defense of Shikaku, Hiashi and others. Go straight into Fire Country. However, reality slapped him in the face. Konoha did not have cage-level high-end combat power. However, there were quite a few elite Jonin ninjas. Among them, Ino Shikacho held back 3rd Tsuchikage Onoki. Although Onoki can fly, but Shirju-san also has a shadow. Having a shadow means that he will also be affected by Shikaku's shadow secret technique. In addition, Haii's mind-body transformation series of secret techniques can also interfere with Onoki. Choza Jontization. Holding a giant stick, even if Onoki is dozens or hundreds of meters high, he cannot be absolutely safe. The three of them are all comrades in arms for many years and have a tacit understanding. Onoki can't defeat the three in a short time. Afterwards, Hiashi brought the Jonin of the Hyuga clan to entangle Lao Zi. Nyobaru Shiwei, Inazuka Sumugi and other ninja clan heads joined forces. They also successfully restrained Five Tails Jinchuriki, Han. The rest, there is no need to worry. Although, Rock Shinobi has a certain advantage in numbers. But, at this time, Konoha also took a desperate posture, fighting madly with Rock Shinobi. Although, after a battle, Konoha suffered heavy losses, countless casualties. However, they also successfully blocked the attack of Rock Shinobi's army. Onoki saw that the attack was unsuccessful. He could only retreat to the grass country helplessly. He set up camp less than 100 kilometers away from the border of the Fire Country. Today, they are preparing to launch a second round of attack on Konoha. At the pre-war meeting, everyone secretly vowed that this time they must break Konoha's defense. March into the Fire Country. As a result, at this time, the spies planted by Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi sent them a bad news. Just yesterday, the 4th Raikage was killed by Uchiha Jun. The two-tailed Jinchuriki was captured by Uchiha Jun by Wooden Golem. Cloud Shinobi was chased by Uchiha Jun's shadow clone and the Konoha army for 300 miles and directly driven out of the Fire Country. For a time, the entire Rock Shinobi was numb. It was agreed that they would meet in the Fire Capital. Divide the Fire Country together. Destroy Konoha together. You were beaten out just after entering the Land of Fire. Even your own cage was killed. Your own Jinchuriki was captured. Brother, if you do this, we, the younger brothers who echo you and follow you, are in a very awkward situation. Everyone, tell me, what should we do next, Rock Shinobi? Onoki asked as he swept his eyes over everyone. What else can we do? Just go home, Lao Zi said bluntly. We came all the way here, but we didn't get anything, so we have to go home. This is too aggrieved. To be honest, I am a little unwilling. At this time, a Jonin said. What if it's aggrieved? What if I am unwilling? You all saw what the Cloud Shinobi ended up like. You don't think that after Uchiha Jun defeated Cloud Shinobi, he would do nothing and just watch us attack the Fire Country? Maybe, at this moment, he has already led the army to our side. If we don't leave now, we won't be able to leave when Uchiha Jun comes. Old Purple said solemnly. We are Rock Shinobi, and we may end up like Cloud Shinobi. Han said disapprovingly. Humph, over the years, the war between us Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi has never stopped. When have you ever seen us Rock Shinobi gain the upper hand? That time, we were beaten by Cloud Shinobi and hired foreign aid. We can't even beat Cloud Shinobi, but we are so arrogant that we think we are different from Cloud Shinobi. I don't know where you get your confidence from. Don't you think this is funny? Old Purple mocked. Everyone was silent after hearing this. Lies don't hurt people. The truth is the sharpest knife. Although they don't want to admit it. But, what Lao Zi said was all true. Cloud Shinobi couldn't stop Uchiha Jun's attack. They rock shinobi probably couldn't stop it either. Third generation, you are the Tsuchikage, so you should make the decision. At this time, an elite Jonin said. The ball was kicked back to Onoki's feet again. After Onoki pondered for a moment, he made a decision soon. His eyes swept over everyone. He said, I have decided to retreat. Retreat immediately. Hey, rock shinobi and other high-level officials heard this. Although they were unwilling, they secretly breathed a sigh of relief. After rock shinobi made the decision, they retreated quickly. 0. In less than an hour, the camp was empty. No, even the building was demolished. All the tents and other things were taken away. Only an empty space was left. Proof that someone had been here before. In a military fortress in the Land of Fire. Shikaku, Hiashi and others gathered together to discuss how to resist the new round of attacks from hidden. At this time, a ninja from the Hyuga clan hurried in. Clan leader, Elder Shikaku, seniors, rock shinobi has retreated. The ninja from the Hyuga clan said excitedly. The retreat of rock shinobi means that they don't have to fight rock shinobi anymore. You know, although they successfully repelled rock shinobi yesterday. But they also suffered a lot of casualties. No one can guarantee that they will be safe in the next fight. It would be better if they don't have to fight. Retreat. Shikaku paused slightly. Yes, the ninja responded. Let's go and take a look. Okay, the clan leaders responded excitedly. More than an hour later, Shikaku, Hiashi, led 1,000 ninjas, arrived in front of rock shinobi's camp. When they saw the empty space, everyone was relieved. Ha ha ha, rock shinobi is really gone. That's great. Shikaku, what's going on? I don't really understand why the hidden retreated all of a sudden. Choza asked honestly. As expected, in episode, the 5th generation should have won a beautiful victory. After receiving the news, rock shinobi was so scared that he didn't dare to delay and retreated directly. Shikaku said in a deep voice. Konoha's intelligence is not shared publicly. Uchiha-jun is the 5th Hokage. He has the first right to know. But Shikaku, Hiashi and others, they don't have such treatment. So at this moment, they haven't received any news about Uchiha-jun killing the 4th Raikage, capturing the wooden golem, and chasing away the Cloud Shinobi army. However, although they don't know the details, they can guess that rock shinobi's retreat is definitely related to Uchiha-jun. I thought so too. There is no other way to explain why rock shinobi retreated so easily. Hiashi laughed. Let's go back and celebrate. When rock shinobi retreated, sand shinobi also learned that cloud shinobi was defeated, the 4th Raikage was killed, and the wooden golem was captured. At this time, they were also discussing what to do. Cloud shinobi is so useless. He was defeated just after the battle. This makes a sand shinobi very embarrassed. After venting, Luo Sha asked. Everyone, tell me, next, should we continue to attack or retreat? To be honest, Luo Sha was unwilling to retreat directly. After all, there might not be such a good opportunity to attack Konoha in the future. But if he didn't retreat, Luo Sha was afraid that he would continue to entangle. Uchiha came directly from the northeast to the southwest. Let them sand shinobi end up like cloud shinobi. At this time, Luo Sha was very entangled. The sand shinobi heard what Luo Sha said. For a moment, they looked at each other, not knowing what to say. At this time, rock shinobi should have received the news of cloud shinobi's defeat. What do you think Unoki and the others will do after learning that cloud shinobi was defeated? At this time, Chio said. They should retreat. A Jonin said uncertainly. Rock shinobi is not as strong as cloud shinobi. In the past, they have always been suppressed by cloud shinobi. Now, they know that cloud shinobi was defeated by Konoha, and even the 4th Raikage died in the battle. I am afraid they dare not continue to attack Konoha, said another Jonin. Uchiha-jun is too strong. Moreover, he is not alone, he can also separate a Susanoo Corps. Although our 3 villages said that they were besieging Konoha together, in fact, they were fighting separately. Now that Cloud Shinobi has been defeated, the siege is no longer in place. If we still don't know how to advance or retreat, we may face a head-on attack from Jichiya-jun next. One by one, none of our ninja villages is a match for Konoha led by Uchiha-jun. After Luasha heard the analysis of the Jonin, he immediately knew what to do. In that case, let's be lazy. Hey, The Sand Shinobi responded swiftly. Just like Rock Shinobi. After making a decision. Then it retreated quickly like a tide. Kikyo Mountain. Kakashi and others received the news of the retreat of Sand Shinobi at the first time. Everyone was surprised, and couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Kakashi, congratulations on leading us to repel Sand Shinobi. This is a great achievement. Guy gave Kakashi a thumbs up, and a gleam of light flashed from his teeth. During the night of genocide, Guy was not in Konoha. When Uchiha-jun was going to fight Danzo, he hadn't come back yet. As soon as Uchiha-jun led the army to leave Konoha, he came back right after. Perfectly avoided the war of genocide night and the war to eliminate Danzo. But just in time, it happened to catch up with the invasion of Sand Shinobi. Follow Kakashi to Kikyo Mountain. In yesterday's battle, Guy opened the 7th gate directly, blocked the high-end combat power of Sand Shinobi such as Luasha. He made a big splash. At the same time, he also made a great contribution. It can be seen that he is a lucky man. Kakashi shook his head and said with a bitter smile, Guy, you are too flattering. Sand Shinobi's retreat is not my credit. It should be the 5th generation who won a great victory. After receiving the news, Sand Shinobi chose to retreat. Is that so? Guy held his chin with his hand and thought for a long time. He couldn't figure out what kind of great victory Uchiha-jun had won to make Sand Shinobi retreat. He simply stopped thinking about it. He smiled at Kakashi. It doesn't matter, as long as Sand Shinobi retreats, that's enough. That's true. Kakashi smiled easily. God knows. He has been under so much pressure these 2 days. He was afraid of messing up. Let Sand Shinobi invade the land of fire. Then, he will really be blamed. But now it's good. Sand Shinobi retreated. He can finally rest assured. After all, he did not live up to the trust of the 5th generation. Defend Mount Kikyo. At this time, Uchiha-jun was leading 2,000 ninjas on the way to the northwest. Suddenly, an Anbu ninja walked up to Uchiha Inaka and whispered something in her ear. Uchiha Inaka's face instantly became extremely wonderful. Afterwards, Uchiha Inaka hurried to Uchiha-jun. Reported to Uchiha-jun what the Anbu ninja reported to her. 5th generation master, Rock Shinobi and Sand Shinobi have retreated. Uchiha Inaka said. Uchiha-jun was stunned. He stopped. Are you sure? Are you sure? Uchiha Inaka nodded. Uchiha laughed directly. They are decisive. After all, 5th generation master, your record is really scary. Uchiha Inaka laughed. Kill the 4th Raikage in one battle and capture the 2-tailed Jinchuriki. Shadow Clone even drove thousands of Cloud Shinobi out of the Land of Fire. It would be strange if Rock Shinobi and Sand Shinobi were not frightened. After all, Cloud Shinobi is the 2nd most powerful military village after Konoha. They even forced Konoha to surrender to them several times. Even a strong village like Cloud Shinobi was beaten up like this by Konoha. How good can they be? If they don't run, won't they follow in the footsteps of Cloud Shinobi? Humph, the feud has already ended. They thought that if they retreated, I would not pursue them. Let them have some fun for a while. After a while, we can free our hands and slowly deal with them. Uchiha-jun laughed coldly. Then he turned around and announced loudly to the 2,000 ninjas behind him, Rock Shinobi, Sand Shinobi have retreated. The whole army will rest on the spot for an hour. After an hour, we will turn back to the fire capital. All the ninjas heard this. They cheered. Uchiha-jun also smiled when he saw this. Then, he said to Uchiha Inaka. Inaka, notify the northwest, let Hiashi lead 1,000 ninjas to continue to guard the border, and let Shikaku lead the rest of the ninjas to return to the Fire City. Notify the southwest, let Kakashi leave 1,000 people to continue to guard Kikyo Mountain, and lead the rest of the ninjas back to Konoha. Although the external enemies have retreated, we have not completely solved the internal problems. Next, we still need to use troops internally. Uchiha-jun said. Understood. Uchiha Inaka responded and left quickly. The border of the Land of Lightning. At this time, Cloud Shinobi also received the news that Rock Shinobi and Sand Shinobi retreated. Alas, failed. There is no chance anymore. It seems that we can only honestly redeem the body of the 4th generation adults. At this moment, Cloud Shinobi completely let go of the last bit of fantasy in his heart. Another day has passed. Uchiha Jun finally led 2,000 ninjas back to the Fire City. Brother Jun. Uchiha Jun hadn't entered the city gate yet. A figure hurried over. He threw himself into Uchiha Jun's arms. Why, you miss me so much after just 2 days of not seeing me? Uchiha Jun scratched Izumi's nose and said lovingly. Didn't the ancients say that 1 day of not seeing each other is like 3 autumns? I feel like I haven't seen Brother Jun for a long time, so of course I miss him. Izumi said coquettishly. Ha ha ha, I am so happy to have you caring about me. Okay, let's go to the city first. Okay, Uchiha Jun walked side by side with him. A long team followed closely behind them. They entered the Fire City together. After entering the city, Uchiha Jun handed over the army behind him to Uchiha Inaka, Shiranui Genma and others to arrange. He and Izumi returned to the daimyo prefecture together. As soon as the two entered a certain hall, Izumi couldn't wait to hug Uchiha Jun. Uchiha Jun naturally didn't resist. He took the initiative to cooperate with Izumi to relieve his lovesickness. Shi Yan watched and quickly helped them close the door. Bu Feng, Bu Yuan, you two keep an eye on the door and don't let anyone in. Shi Yan said to the two. Understood. The two girls responded quickly. Then, Shi Yan took Wooden Golem to a side hall. Yes, it was next to Tsunade and Shizune. Master Tsunade, Uchiha Jun and his men are back, and they also caught a blonde woman. Shi Yan will arrange her next door to us. Shizune heard a sound outside. So he secretly lay at the door and peeked for a while. After figuring out what was going on, then he reported to Tsunade. Blonde woman. Tsunade raised his eyebrows. It should be Cloud Shinobi. Besides, the other party's identity is probably not simple. Otherwise, Shi Yan would not have locked her up here. Who could she be? Shizune asked puzzledly. I remember that Cloud Shinobi's second tail Jinchuriki from Wooden Golem seems to be a blonde beauty. If nothing unexpected happens, it must be her. Tsunade analyzed. Is it her? Shizune suddenly realized. Although she had never seen the second tail from Wooden Golem, she had heard of her. If it was her, it would be very reasonable. Tsunade-sama, do you think she was done something by Uchiha Jun? Shizune said with 8 trigrams on his face. Humph, with Uchiha Jun's full character, how could he let her go? Tsunade sneered. We are both wanderers in the world. Shizune sighed. Okay, Uchiha Jun is back. Instead of caring about others, why not care about yourself first? Maybe, someday, we will suffer again, Tsunade said. Tsunade-sama is right, Shizune nodded quickly. But, for some reason, while afraid, Shizune's heart was still filled with a hint of expectation. 3 hours later, the main hall door opened. Bufeng used wind-style flower dance to blow away the odor in the hall. Xian immediately came in with tea. Uchiha Jun sat down with Quan, whose face was rosy. He drank the tea brewed by Xian as if nothing had happened, ate snacks, and talked about the situation in the Fire City in the past 2 days. Then talked about the situation of Tsunade and others. Then turned to the Wooden Golem. Anyway, the two talked too much. Unknowingly, it was noon. The two had a wonderful lunch together. At this time, Uchiha Inaka came to him. 5th generation, Elder Ju and the others are back. Uchiha Inaka said. Really, let all Jonin go to the meeting hall in 2 hours to discuss important matters. Uchiha Jun said. Shikaku and the others just came back, so they should be given a break. In addition, they haven't finished their meal yet. So, set the meeting in 2 hours. Understood, Uchiha Inaka responded. Brother Jun, what are you going to do in the meeting? Izumi asked. Next, we have 2 things to deal with, Uchiha Jun said. First, completely eliminate the remaining members of the Sarutobi 10 clans. Second, clean up all the vassal nobles of the Fire Country. Before, Uchiha Jun planned to completely eliminate the Sarutobi clan after killing the daimyo. As a result, that day, news came that the 3 major ninjas attacked the Fire Country at the same time. In desperation, Uchiha Jun had to put this matter aside for the time being. Now that the external enemies have been defeated. Next, it is time to clean up the internal affairs. Uchiha Jun's first knife was naturally to cut the Sarutobi clan. Even those vassal nobles can only be ranked behind the Sarutobi clan. After all, the combat power of the Sarutobi clan cannot be underestimated. If you compare them with other vassal nobles in the Fire Country, their strength is still far superior to those vassal nobles. Really, Izumi looked suddenly enlightened. After lunch, Uchiha hugged Izumi and took a short rest. It was almost the agreed time. Uchiha-jun and Izumi woke up after Shi-Yan called them. After they washed their faces, they walked towards the meeting hall together. In the hall, everyone was still whispering to each other. Seeing Uchiha-jun coming, they immediately shut up. Corrected their attitude. Uchiha-jun went straight to the main seat and sat down. Izumi sat next to him. Shi-Yan stood behind Uchiha-jun. Bu Feng Bu Yuan stood on both sides. It was quite impressive. Uchiha-jun looked at the Jonin. He smiled faintly and said, "You have worked hard these past 2 days." Everyone smiled calmly. They really worked hard these past 2 days. But it was all worth it. Before, I promised Elder Lu Ju that after conquering the Fire City, I will give you half of everything I harvested. Li, and Zhao Yuan has ordered people to count this batch of harvest. Wait a minute, it will be distributed to everyone. In addition, if you are interested in those real estates, you can also pay attention to it. Uchiha-jun said, "Thank you, 5th generation master." Everyone was ecstatic when they heard this. Looking at the expressions of these people, Uchiha-jun smiled faintly. Although he has never been in the officialdom, he doesn't know how to be an official. But he has read some novels, and he knows how Yuan Shigai pretends in the novels. It's very simple and rough. Just hold a knife in one hand and money in the other. If you are obedient, you will get money. If you are disobedient, you will get a knife. For those who casually follow him, he is never stingy. Half of the money in the Fire City will be given as soon as he says it. Okay, the money issue, you can discuss it slowly after the meeting. Let's talk about the second thing. Uchiha-jun said in a deep voice. Everyone's face was solemn, and they listened to Uchiha-jun carefully. The external enemy has been solved. Now it's time to clean up the internal troubles. Uchiha-jun said in a deep voice. It's finally coming. Everyone was not surprised by Uchiha-jun's words. Everything was within their expectations. After all, the external enemies have been defeated. The next step is to fight the internal thieves. First of all, the first target we have to clean up is the Sarutobi clan. The Sarutobi clan, because of Sarutobi Hiruzen, has rapidly developed from a medium-sized ninja clan with only 200 or 300 people to 10 super clans with Sarutobi as the mainstay in just a few decades. It is conceivable that in the decades after Sarutobi Hiruzen became Hokage, how many people's interests have been eroded by the people's blood and sweat from Konoha. In short, in one sentence, the Sarutobi clan is guilty. Uchiha-jun directly gave the final verdict on the Sarutobi clan. It also gave them a legitimate explanation for the Uchiha clan to destroy the other 3 major families. After the Sarutobi clan fled Konoha, they didn't know how to shrink their tails and keep a low profile. They even dared to participate in Danzo's rebellion. It is really an unforgivable crime. Elder Shikaku. Uchiha-jun looked at Shikaku. Here, Shikaku stood up and responded. Next, you will lead 3,000 ninjas to destroy the Sarutobi clan. You can ask Inaka for the location of the Sarutobi clan. Uchiha-jun said in a deep voice. The Sarutobi clan had been tracked and monitored by people sent by Uchiha-jun long after they fled Konoha. They could not escape at all. Yes, Shikaku responded. Speed is of the essence. You will set off today. After destroying the Sarutobi clan, we will completely wipe out the lords and nobles of the Land of Fire. When we completely eliminate those lords and nobles, the Land of Fire will belong to our Konoha. Uchiha-jun said in a deep voice. Yes, when everyone heard what Uchiha-jun said, their hearts were stirred again. Replacing the daimyo and nobles and becoming the true master of the Land of Fire, it was exciting to think about it. After the meeting, Shikaku talked with Uchiha Inaka for a while. After getting the information he needed from Uchiha Inaka, he went to gather the army without stopping. Shikaku was very particular about gathering ninjas. The first group he selected was the 1,000 people stationed in the Fire City. Then, he selected another 1,000 people from the ninja clan, Daisy. Finally, he selected another 1,000 people from the 2,000 people brought back by Uchiha Jun. These people, after being selected, Shikaku took them to receive their rewards. Under the stimulation of generous money, 3,000 ninjas, each one was like chicken blood. Each one was eager to make achievements, make more money and sit in a higher position. When the sun set, Shikaku left the Fire City with 3,000 ninjas, headed towards the hiding place of the Sarutobi clan. After dinner, Uchiha Jun accompanied Izumi for another 2 hours, until Izumi fell asleep. Then he came to the side hall where Tsunade was. After not seeing each other for a few days, to be honest, Uchiha Jun still missed Tsunade, missing her disgusted face, but having to beg for mercy. Bang! The door was pushed open. Shizune was startled, instinctively shrank behind Tsunade. "You're here." Tsunade looked at Uchiha Jun with a look of indifference, without any ripples. Here, Uchiha Jun looked at Tsunade like this, and couldn't help showing a hint of amusement. "You don't seem to resist my coming. Will resistance work?" Tsunade said with a dead face. "No use." Uchiha Jun shook his head. "That's it. Since resistance is useless, why bother to resist? It's so much better to just give up," Tsunade said. Then, Tsunade lay down directly. "Close your eyes. Come on, Pa." Uchiha Jun approached and slapped Tsunade on the thigh with a clap. "What are you doing?" Tsunade widened her eyes in anger. "Yes, that's what I want. I want your resistance. You are just pretending to be a dead fish. What do you want to do? You deserve a slap. Pa pa pa." As he said that, Uchiha Jun slapped Tsunade a few more times. "Ah, I'm going to fight you." Tsunade was furious. She had already chosen to lie down and let Uchiha Jun do it. This fool was not satisfied and wanted to hit her. "I can't bear it anymore." At this point, she didn't care whether she could beat Uchiha Jun or not. She rushed towards him directly. She scratched Uchiha Jun's face frantically. Slap. Uchiha Jun slapped Tsunade again and slapped her down on the couch. She shouted excitedly, "Yes, that's it. Keep going." 5 hours later, Uchiha Jun looked at her with a sense of satisfaction. Tsunade fainted completely, and Shizune was trembling beside him. "You guys did a good job tonight. Have a good rest. I'll come again tomorrow." "Hi," Shizune said in a trembling voice. After watching Uchiha Jun leave, the fear and anxiety on Shizune's face quickly disappeared, and she was replaced by a twisted smile. Today, she was so happy. The 5th generation adults were so violent and rude. It was so enjoyable. I wish tomorrow would come soon. However, Uchiha Jun walked out of the room where Tsunade and Shizune were imprisoned. Then he came to the room where Wooden Golem was imprisoned. Bang! Uchiha pushed the door open again. Wooden Golem was startled. She woke up from her deep sleep. When she saw Uchiha Jun, her body began to tremble as if instinctively, just like a saint seeing a goblin. Uchiha Jun looked at Wooden Golem and couldn't help showing a playful expression. "Come here, let me go, please," Wooden Golem said tremblingly. "I don't want to say it again," Uchiha Jun said. Just as Uchiha Jun was having fun, there was a valley only about 500 kilometers away from the Fire City. At this time, the flames spread rapidly on those makeshift wooden houses. Below, it was a mess. The sound of tearing, screaming, and crying mixed together. "Kill. No. Mom, help me. All of you die. Ah." Nara Shikaku, why? A middle-aged man from the Sarutobi clan glared at Shikaku angrily and roared. "Why are there so many of them?" Shikaku looked at the middle-aged man in front of him expressionlessly. He knew this man. That's right, this middle-aged man is the former principal of Konoha Shinobi School, Sarutobi Jotaro. "The 3rd generation has treated you well. Why are you doing this to us?" Sarutobi Jotaro shouted angrily. "Because, this is the order of the 5th Hokage," Shikaku said expressionlessly. "Asshole." Jotaro Sarutobi almost exploded. "Jotaro, you have been the principal for so many years, you must understand the principle that the strong are respected. Back then, when the 3rd generation was in power, your Sarutobi clan was above all the ninja clans in Konoha. They say that the Uchiha is the first ninja clan in Konoha. But in fact, you Sarutobi are the uncrowned king of Konoha. At least, the Uchiha led by Fugaku dare not provoke you at all. And the third generation has drawn countless benefits and wealth from Konoha to support you, even if someone knows, they will turn a blind eye. Why? Because, at that time, Konoha was the world of the third generation. He is the strongest king of Konoha. No matter how excessive he is, as long as he is willing to pretend, no one dares to expose him. The same reason. Now, fifth generation is the strongest in Konoha. One word decides his life and death. So, we have to listen to him. This is the nature of the world. So, don't be resentful. Because, your Sarutobi clan has enjoyed such privileges for decades. Now it's just paying back what we enjoyed before. Shikaku said. What a Shikaku, you are worthy of being the military advisor valued by the third generation adults. Not only is your brain useful, but your mouth is also sharp. However, even if you talk a lot, it can't change the nature of your mother who feeds you. Today, even if I die, I will never let you have an easy life. Sarutobi Jotaro said, and he was ready to fight with Shikaku. However, at this moment, he suddenly found he couldn't move. Even if he tried his best, it was in vain. Stop struggling. What do you think I'm telling you so much for? You haven't fought for decades, and you've lost your vigilance. You've completely forgotten what the signature ninjutsu of my Nara clan is. Shikaku said lightly. The reason why Sarutobi Jotaro couldn't move was because he was restrained by the shadow secret technique. Nara Shikaku, you must. Quote. Human bomb tank. Sarutobi Jotaro hasn't finished speaking yet. A huge meatball is rolling towards him at a high speed. Killed him on the spot. The one who killed Sarutobi Jotaro was Shikaku's partner, Akamaiki Choza. Shikaku went to war, even if it was just to destroy the Sarutobi clan. But for the sake of safety, he not only brought Choza, but also Gazen. But, to deal with a mere Sarutobi Jotaro, there was no need for Hiei to take action. Kill all the Sarutobi clan, regardless of gender, age or status, without mercy. Whoever shows mercy will die for them. After Jotaro Sarutobi died, Shikaku's eyes gradually became cold. No longer had the tenderness he had before. He ordered ruthlessly. Hey! The ninja who originally had a little sympathy for the Sarutobi clan heard Shikaku's words. He immediately cut off the sympathy in his heart. He attacked, becoming extremely cruel. It's better to let my friends die than to let me die. It's better for the Sarutobi clan to die than to die myself. Facing the Konoha shinobi army led by Shikaku, the Sarutobi clan had no chance to fight back. In less than an hour, in the small valley, all 800 people of the Sarutobi clan were killed. All the bodies were burned to ashes by a torch. After that, Shikaku left 4 people to guard the fire. He specifically instructed the 4 people. After the fire is extinguished, we need to search the surrounding area carefully. See if there are any accidents. If there are, just kill them directly. If not, just return to the Fire City and report to the 5th Hokage. There is no need to look for them again. After the 4 people agreed, Shikaku divided the 3,000 ninjas into 3 teams. Led by him, Aburame Jiwei, and Inuzuka Sumugi. Kill the Sarutobi people hiding in other places. This night is destined to be restless. Shikaku and others fought all night. Until the dawn of the next day. The last descendant of the Sarutobi clan, Sarutobi Konohamaru, was killed. At this point, the once popular Sarutobi clan completely became history. When Shikaku and others returned to the Fire City, it was already evening. Thank you for your hard work. After completing the mission, Shikaku came to report to Uchiha Jun. At the same time, he presented the wealth looted from the Sarutobi clan. After receiving the scroll, Uchiha Jun nodded with satisfaction. I have asked people to prepare wine and food. Let's celebrate and relax. Tomorrow, we have new things to do. I'm afraid it won't be easy for a long time in the future. Yes, Shikaku responded. It was night. The Fire City, outside the city gate. On an open space, countless Konoha shinobi gathered together. Drinking and eating meat happily. Uchiha Jun also came. Said a few words briefly and toasted with everyone. To thank them for their hard work. Then he left again. Uchiha Jun's aura is too strong. When he was there, those ninjas couldn't let go at all. As soon as he left, those ninjas completely let go. They had a lot of fun. I really envy them, they can drink. The ninja on duty looked at the group of people who were completely crazy, and a trace of yearning flashed in his eyes. When the shift changes later, let's go and have a small drink. Another ninja on duty laughed. Okay, the man who was originally talking about envy, his eyes lit up. By the way, brother, how much reward did you get? Me, not much, just 2 million. The man smiled proudly. It's really not much, I have 3 million. Envy nodded, really think that 2 million is not much. 5th generation is still good. Reward us so much money at once. Such a good thing, I didn't dare to think about it before. With this money, I can buy a house and get married. When Sarutobi Hiruzen was Hokage, who dares to think about it? Envy sneered. What's the benefit? Sarutobi Hiruzen moved directly back home. How could he still think of us? Otherwise, how do you think the 3,000 Sarutobi troops came? We were not targeted by the Sarutobi clan, so it's good enough that we took the family property. Yes, before, I thought Sarutobi Hiruzen was a good Hokage. There is really no harm without comparison. Compared with the 5th generation. His 3rd generation, except for talking, is really good at nothing. Both of them are civilian ninjas. In the past, I tended to be the 3rd Hokage. I didn't have much good feelings for Uchiha Jun. It's just that he was shocked by Uchiha Jun's powerful strength and obeyed his orders. Now, he has been hit by Uchiha Jun's money ability and changed his position directly. Instead, he hates Sarutobi Hiruzen. Time flies, and a week has passed in a flash. Since the Sarutobi clan was destroyed, Uchiha Jun no longer concealed the changes in the Fire Capital. At the same time, he began to comprehensively eliminate the nobles in the Fire Country. Uchiha Jun dispersed all the ninjas in the Fire Capital and Konoha. Premeditated, organized, and planned attacks on those nobles. Those nobles may be able to gather a few wandering ninjas. But, their armies are still mainly composed of samurai. Facing ninjas, samurai have almost no room for resistance. For a time, the entire Fire Country was filled with the voices of nobles and wealthy families. A large number of nobles were killed every day. Large tracts of land were brought under the control of Konoha. Although, Uchiha's move also brought great turmoil to the Fire Country. But, after the chaos, it is a great governance. Small pains will pass if you endure it. Under the crazy attack of Konoha shinobi, the nobles of the Fire Country had already been defeated. It was only a matter of time before they were completely wiped out. At this time, the Fire Country gradually fell into the control of Uchiha Jun. The current Uchiha Jun, 1 word, was more effective than the former daimyo, 100 words. Although Uchiha Jun had not yet changed the era name and proclaimed himself emperor, he already had the power of the emperor. At the same time, he controlled the military and political power of the Fire Country. Of course, Uchiha Jun's big move within the Fire Country naturally attracted the attention of everyone in the world. When those people came back to their senses from the battle in which the 3 major ninja villages besieged Konoha, they were shocked to find that the Fire Country had changed. For a time, the whole world was in an uproar, especially those daimyo, who were even more shocked and angry. What Uchiha Jun did had broken the tradition of the ninja world for thousands of years. It broke the golden body of the descendants of the daimyo gods. It was a deep threat and even shook the ruling status of those daimyo. Those daimyos naturally didn't want to let Uchiha Jun go. After exchanging opinions on the video link, the daimyos quickly reached a consensus. After that, they passed their orders to the ninja villages under their command. They asked the ninja villages to send troops to attack a land of fire in Konoha. For this, the daimyos even promised a large sum of money. Not only did they contract any expenses required for the ninja villages to send troops, but they also proposed that any ninja who went to the battle would receive a generous bonus. Unfortunately, the 3 major ninja villages of Cloud Shinobi, Rock Shinobi, and Sand Shinobi, they were not moved at all. Cloud Shinobi had just been defeated, the 4th Raikage died, and the 2-tailed Jinhiroki was captured. At this time, they were in a mess and were in a hurry to elect a new Raikage. There was no time to care about the daimyos. Rock Shinobi and Sand Shinobi were indeed a little tempted at first. However, they knew very well that they were no match for Konoha. They wanted to form an alliance, but there was no basis for trust between them. Therefore, they did not agree to the daimyo's request. Even later, they watched Konoha gradually control the land of fire. Became the master of a country. It seemed as if their Ren and Du meridians were opened. Their thinking had undergone a radical change. They all felt that the world could be like this. They also had some thoughts that they shouldn't have. As for Mist Shinobi, at this time, he was still under the control of Obito. He turned a deaf ear to what was happening outside the window. He only wanted to engage in internal strife. Without the leadership of the 3 major ninja villages, other small ninja villages, they didn't dare to provoke Konoha at all. Therefore, in addition to feeling angry and uneasy, those daimyo also felt deeply powerless. Every day in their own houses, they cursed Uchiha-jun. But there was nothing he could do. Konoha, Uchiha-jun stayed in the Fire City for 2 days. He handed the Fire City over to Akamiki Choza for guarding. He took Izumi, Shikaku and others back to Konoha. Although, during this period, Konoha has too many things to count. The 4 advisors are busy all day long. Hiashi has been transferred back. But, these did not affect Uchiha-jun at all. He still lived his leisurely life. Every day he trained Mikoto, trained Tsunade, trained Shizune, and trained the wooden golem. Or he talked about love with Izumi. Or he kept in touch with Hinata. Anyway, he just didn't do his job. Today, early in the morning, when Uchiha-jun climbed up from the pile of beauties, he immediately noticed that there was something wrong with his eyes. Has my permanent amplification Mangekyo Sharingan recovered? After Uchiha-jun observed it, I couldn't help but murmur to myself. I laughed happily. 0. After waiting for so long, I finally recovered. Next, which one should I amplify first? After the pupil power recovered, Uchiha couldn't wait to amplify his own ability and make himself stronger. Well, let's try it first and see if the amplification can be stacked. Let's start with amplifying chakra. Uchiha-jun did it as he thought. However, the next moment, his pupil technique failed to activate. Obviously, the amplification power cannot be stacked. He had already amplified chakra before. So, now, he can no longer amplify chakra. No, although Uchiha-jun was a little disappointed. But he was not too disappointed. After all, it is impossible to amplify the same ability. In fact, from the beginning, it was within his expectations. He just wanted to try it out. If it can be stacked, it would be great. If it can't be stacked, he won't be too disappointed. Since the amplification cannot be stacked, let's amplify the comprehension first. After all, Impure World Reincarnation and Flying Thunder God technique are still very tempting. With 10 times the comprehension, I should be able to learn, or even master, Flying Thunder God and Impure World Reincarnation in a short time. Thinking of this, Uchiha-jun immediately took action. Though comprehension cannot be seen or touched. But it is not difficult to amplify comprehension. Because Sharingan is the eye of the soul. It is the power of the mind. Uchiha-jun can also manipulate the pupil power by thinking times and amplify his own comprehension. As the permanent amplification is activated, with a buzz, Uchiha-jun only felt that his whole person was sublimated. The spirit became more transparent and clear. The mind also became more flexible. One thought, whatever you think of and see, inspiration will flash quickly. As long as Uchiha-jun can grasp one of them and think deeply, he can always understand something. What a pervert ability, Uchiha-jun exclaimed. This is only 10 times the comprehension. What if it is 100 times, 1,000 times, what will it be like? Unfortunately, the increase cannot be increased. But even if it is only 10 times the increase, it is enough for me to use now. 5th generation master. Brother Jun, you are up. Uchiha-jun walked out of the bedroom, smelling the fragrance. He came to the kitchen. Izumi got up early today. She cooked breakfast for Uchiha-jun herself. Several maids helped her. Seeing Uchiha-jun coming, the maids hurriedly bowed and called out. Izumi turned around and was delighted to see Uchiha-jun coming. Well, I smelled the breakfast you made. So I got up. Uchiha-jun smiled and walked towards Izumi, waving to the maids. The maids knew that Uchiha-jun wanted to be alone with Izumi. So, they didn't dare to stay any longer. After bowing, they quickly left the kitchen. Uchiha walked behind Izumi, hugging Izumi's slender waist. Izumi happened to raise her head. The two kissed each other naturally. Until the food in the pot gave off a burnt smell. The two stopped. Izumi was busy turning the food in the pot. He cried out. Uchiha-jun felt it was interesting. He didn't walk far. He just watched Izumi busy. If Mikoto, Tsunade, and Wooden Golem were just Uchiha-jun's desires, then Izumi was Uchiha-jun's fireworks. He could feel warm. 20 minutes later, Izumi finally made breakfast. It was very rich, but Izumi and Uchiha-jun ate it together. As for Mikoto, Tsunade and other women, Uchiha-jun didn't wake them up at all. He didn't plan to let them join him in Izumi's breakfast. The two had just finished a warm breakfast. Uchiha-jun was about to study Flying Thunder God technique and reanimation jutsu. At this time, the four advisors came together. How come the four elders have time to come to me today? Uchiha-jun looked at the four people with a smile. The four looked at Uchiha-jun with resentment. Fifth generation, do you still remember that you are a Hokage? Yes, fifth generation, you are so unreasonable that you leave all the work to us. Konoha has been established for so many years, and I have never seen you so irresponsible. You see it now. Uchiha-jun was not angry at the complaints of the advisor elders, and said with a smile. Uchiha Setsuna, Hiyashi, ahem, let's get back to the point. What do you want to talk to me about? Uchiha-jun asked. Fifth generation, we are expanding too fast. Now, many places are short of officials. Local government affairs are a mess. Shikaku said hurriedly. There is also a shortage of tax officials. Taxes in many places cannot be collected normally, Uchiha said. Under the management of Uchiha-jun, other government affairs and taxation are separate. In addition, there are too many places that need ninjas, and we may not have enough ninjas in Konoha. Hiyashi said. Kakashi, don't you have anything to say? Uchiha-jun looked at Kakashi. The three consultants have said everything I want to say, I have nothing to add. Kakashi scratched his head and said awkwardly. He was a bit lazy like Uchiha-jun. His mind was not on handling these official duties. He pushed it to the three consultants if he could. And the three consultants also liked to take power. Naturally, there was no objection. So, although Kakashi is a consultant, but seriously speaking, he is just a filler. Okay, Uchiha-jun glanced at Kakashi. Then, he glanced at Shikaku, Uchiha Setsuna, and Hiyashi. He said, the problems you mentioned are easy to solve. First, let's talk about consultants Shikaku and Setsuna. Your problems seem to be two, but in fact, there is only one, and you only need to take an exam to solve it. Exam. Shikaku and Setsuna were stunned. Yes, it's an exam. A civil service exam for the entire land of fire. Wait a minute, after you go back, announce to the public that Konoha will select officials through an exam. There is not much else in this world. It's just that there are many people. There are even more people who want to be officials. I believe, after one exam, you can always select the officials you need. If one exam doesn't work, then have a few more. The problem of the shortage of officials can always be solved, Uchiha-jun said. Can it be like this? Shikamaru and Uchiha were stunned for a moment. This continent, it has been passed down for thousands of years. The structure of society has become quite solidified. The descendants of officials are officials. The descendants of nobles are also nobles. The descendants of merchants are merchants. And the descendants of civilians can only be civilians. Official positions have long been monopolized. There is no example of selecting officials through exams. There is no need to do this. So, Shikaku and others had never thought of solving the problem of the lack of officials in this way before. Otherwise, Uchiha-jun said, this method is not suitable for the daimyo era, but it is very suitable for us now. Fifth generation, your method is great. Why didn't I think of it before? Shikaku came back to his senses and shouted excitedly. Uchiha-jun curled his lips. It's strange that you can think of it. You are the native of this world. Your thinking has long been limited. Since you think it's feasible, let's do it. Uchiha-jun smiled faintly. Yes, Shikaku and Uchiha Setsuna responded in unison. At this time, Uchiha-jun looked at Hiyashi. The land of fire is too big, and we don't have enough ninjas in Konoha. We can gather a group of samurai to serve as auxiliary troops. There is no need for ninjas to do everything, that would be a waste of ninjas' manpower. Uchiha asked later. But those samurai were all subordinates of the princes and nobles before. Is it really okay for us to use them? Hiashi hesitated. What can happen? We are not withdrawing all the ninjas. There are still a few ninjas left in each place to lead, manage and supervise the samurai. Do they dare to rebel? Besides, the loyalty of the samurai to the nobles is not immutable. As long as we give them enough food, they will slowly accept our rule. Uchiha Jun said in a deep voice. Yes, Hiashi heard this and immediately had no objection. After thinking for a while, Uchiha Jun looked at Kakashi again. Kakashi, since you are so free, then help the village recruit a group of wandering ninjas. Recruit wandering ninjas. Kakashi was slightly stunned. Shikaku, Hiashi, and Setsuna heard this and could not stay out of it. 5th generation, wandering ninjas are not trustworthy. Uchiha Setsuna asked hurriedly. Yes, 5th generation, wandering ninjas are mixed, and none of us knows how many people with bad intentions are hidden among them. Shikaku said. I know that wandering ninjas cannot be trusted, but don't we lack ninjas? We can train a large number of trustworthy ninjas in a short period of time. In that case, let's use them first. Use people with suspicion, use people with suspicion. No matter what they think about approaching us. As long as they can be used by us. Then, we should squeeze out their greatest value. As long as we always keep a vigilant heart. Don't be fooled. What kind of waves can they make? Uchiha Jun said calmly. When everyone heard Uchiha Jun's words, they immediately fell silent. Indeed, wandering ninjas are indeed mixed. But, as long as they treat them with caution, there won't be too many problems. After all, with the size of their Konoha, it's not something that those wandering ninjas can shake. Since the 5th generation adults have ideas in their hearts, then we won't mention it. Shikaku said. Kakashi, what about you, do you have any questions? Uchiha Jun asked. I'm fine. Kakashi smiled bitterly. He still couldn't escape being ordered around. Very good. Since there are no problems, then it's settled. Uchiha Jun nodded. Besides this, do you have any other questions? No. The 4 shook their heads. Then go back to work. Giving you so much power doesn't mean you can be lazy. Uchiha sent the 4 people away directly. Shikaku. Hiashi, Kakashi, who was lazy? For a moment, everyone began to have no doubts. Was it wrong to accept the position of advisor given by Uchiha Jun? This 5th Hokage is so inhuman. Even cows are not used like this. Working for such a person. It's really worse than cows. Oh, forget it, let's go back to work. In the end, they still couldn't bear to taste the power of being under one person and above 10,000 people. Go back to work honestly. Of course, except Kakashi. He was forced to take the position. After the 4 people left. After he was free, Uchiha picked up the Book of Seals. He studied it carefully. First of all, Uchiha Jun was learning reanimation jutsu. He was learning this ninjutsu. He was preparing to reincarnate Itachi. See if he could take the Yata mirror and the 10-fisted sword from Itachi's Susanoo. After all, these 2 divine consciousnesses are not very useful. In particular, the Yata mirror and the mountain splitting axe are used together, one for attack and one for defense. His strength will definitely increase a lot. As for the 10-fisted sword, it is a bonus. Of course, in addition to these, Uchiha Jun also wanted Itachi to see the great empire he had conquered. Let him see how his mother was humiliated by him. He wanted to take away everything from Itachi in front of him. Time flies. 3 days passed. Konoha's big move once again attracted the attention of the world. Civil service exam. This is really a system that has never existed in the past 1,000 years. It has opened a gap for countless poor people to be promoted. All citizens of the Land of Fire with ideals and ambitions, after seeing the announcement of Konoha, immediately packed up their belongings and rushed to Konoha. In addition, Konoha also recruits wandering ninjas. Many wandering ninjas came in droves after hearing the news. For a time, a large number of people poured into Konoha. While Konoha was extremely prosperous, it also caused congestion. In desperation, the advisory elders, they had to open up a new urban area outside Konoha. For this purpose, they mobilized hundreds of ninjas who were guarding Konoha. and Yamato, the wood-style ninja, act at the same time. And during this time, Uchiha Jun also thoroughly understood the principles of impure world reincarnation and even had some new insights. Innovate impure world reincarnation. Today, Uchiha started to operate after that. Nanga Shrine. Dark secret room. At this time, in addition to Uchiha Jun, Quan, Mikoto, Shi Yan, Fu Feng, and Bu Yuan were all there. In addition, there were several prisoners who were used as experimental materials. Uchiha Jun transferred Itachi's genes to a prisoner. Afterwards, he made seals with both hands. Reanimation jutsu. The prisoner suddenly screamed. Then he was wrapped by countless paper scraps. In front of everyone, he turned into Itachi. Success. Uchiha Jun was neither surprised nor disappointed. Everything was as plain as water. After 3 days of familiarity, he had already mastered the forbidden technique of impure world reincarnation. Now it was just a matter of operating. Success. It was normal. Itachi. Mikoto looked at Itachi and couldn't help but screamed. Madam, calm down, Shi Yan reminded. I know. Mikoto's body trembled, and he came back to his senses in an instant, and quickly calmed down. A few seconds passed. Itachi's tightly closed eyes trembled slightly. Then he opened his eyes. Where is this? Am I not dead? Itachi muttered to himself. I reincarnated you, Uchiha Jun said. Uchiha Jun. When Itachi saw the person in front of him clearly, his face suddenly changed. He was about to take action. As a result, he suddenly found that he couldn't move at all. You were reincarnated by me, and you still want to resist me? Uchiha Jun sneered. Uchiha Jun, what do you want? Itachi asked coldly. This time, there are 2 purposes for reincarnating you. First, I need your Susanoo artifact. Second, let you see the current Konoha. Uchiha Jun said. What have you done to Konoha? Itachi heard Uchiha Jun's words. Good for the king. For Uchiha Jun's first purpose, he didn't take it to heart. But he is very concerned about his second goal. After all, he did the slaughter of the clan. It was for the village. The village's position in his heart is still higher than Sasuke. Not to mention his reaction at this time. Even in the original work, Itachi left Sasuke. Seemingly he loved Sasuke very much. But, he manipulated Sasuke's life. Made Sasuke a dog guide for Konoha. He has been running for Konoha all his life. It is obvious. Konoha is the most important in his heart, and Sasuke can only be ranked second. It's you, Itachi. Uchiha Jun looked at Itachi's reaction and sneered. Don't worry, wait a minute, you will see. Now, let's achieve my first goal first. Come on, Itachi, show us your Susanoo. Uchiha Jun said. Although Itachi was reluctant, under Uchiha Jun's forced control, he finally showed his Sharingan. A pair of large windmills appeared. Then a red Susanoo wrapped Itachi. The 10-fisted sword and Yata mirror gradually emerged. Itachi wanted to control the 10-fisted sword to chop at Uchiha Jun. Unfortunately, he was forcibly controlled by Uchiha Jun, and his Susanoo was not under his control at all. He could only stare at Uchiha Jun in anger and frustration. Okay, just keep it like this. Uchiha Jun looked at the anger and frustration in Itachi's eyes. He just felt refreshed. While laughing, he released his golden Susanoo. Then, Uchiha Jun controlled the golden Susanoo to stretch out his giant hand and grab the Yata mirror held in Itachi's red Susanoo's left hand. Under normal circumstances, people cannot snatch things from Susanoo's hands. But, Susanoo can snatch all of Susanoo's things. Yata is a divine weapon, not something Itachi condensed at will. So, in theory, it can be taken away. Let go. Uchiha Jun manipulated Itachi to react. At the same time, he also increased the strength of Susanoo's giant hand. The next moment, Yata mirror was directly snatched from the red Susanoo by the golden Susanoo's hand. Yata mirror left Itachi's Susanoo color. It quickly turned from red to transparent. Then, under the chakra of the golden Susanoo, it quickly turned into gold. At this time, Uchiha Jun felt that there was a trace of connection between himself and Yata mirror. It was this trace of connection that allowed Uchiha to easily put away and release Yata mirror. So far, Yata mirror has completely become Uchiha Jun's divine weapon. Come, cut here with a sword. After plundering Yata mirror, Uchiha-jun naturally wanted to try its power. And there is no one more suitable than Itachi for the test subject. Thinking of this, Uchiha-jun gave Itachi an order. At the same time, he also relaxed his control over Itachi. With strong anger and frustration, Itachi swung out the 10-fist sword. Boom! The 10-fist sword chopped on the Yata mirror. There was a loud noise. A circle of golden energy light waves spread on the Yata mirror. At the same time, a flame sword energy was quickly reflected back. It hit Itachi's red Susanoo. Yata mirror, nothing happened. And the rebounded sword energy, although it did not break Itachi's Susanoo. But its performance was enough to prove its power. Powerful, Uchiha-jun exclaimed. Then, he looked at Itachi. Itachi, thank you for your help. Now, I already know its power. You should be able to feel that it is more powerful in my hands than in yours. Uchiha-jun smiled at Itachi. Okay, now give me the 10-fist sword too. After Uchiha-jun put away the Yata mirror, he extended his Susanoo hand toward Uchiha Itachi again. He reached for the gourd on Itachi's red Susanoo right hand. The gourd was the hilt of the 10-fist sword. In addition to being able to spit out flaming sword energy, it also had the ability to seal. It was a very good artifact. At least, it was much stronger than the mace that Uchiha-jun had condensed himself. Although Itachi was reluctant to give the 10-fist sword to Uchiha-jun. But at this time, he was completely controlled by Uchiha-jun. There was no way he could compete with Uchiha-jun. After struggling for less than a second, Itachi's hand was forcefully broken open by Uchiha-jun. He took the 10-fist sword away. Uchiha-jun held the hilt of the gourd. Then he began to transfer chakra into it. From time to time, a stream of flaming sword energy erupted. Uchiha-jun said nothing. He directly transferred more chakra into it. Then, he chopped towards Itachi's red Susanoo. A golden red streak swept across the sky. With a puff, Itachi's red Susanoo was split on the spot. Itachi himself was also split in half by the 10-fist sword at this moment. Uchiha-jun, you're going too far. What do you think of me? At this moment, Itachi couldn't help but roared in anger. You're angry now, Uchiha-jun sneered. Beast, do you know how many tribesmen you killed that night? More than 400. They suffered more grievances than you. You don't have the qualifications to yell at me here. What do you think I think of you? Let me tell you, you're a beast. Mikoto, come here, Uchiha-jun shouted at Mikoto next to him. Hey, Mikoto trembled all over. After responding, he hurried to Uchiha-jun. He lowered his head and didn't look at Itachi. Mom. Itachi's eyes were filled with astonishment. He didn't expect Mikoto to be here too. Uchiha-jun, what do you want to do? If you have anything to say, just come to me. You threaten my mom, what's that? Itachi roared anxiously and angrily. HMPH. Uchiha-jun glanced at Itachi and didn't bother to answer him. He immediately looked at Mikoto. I'm very angry now. Kneel down. Yes. After Mikoto knelt down, he naturally knew what to do next. Itachi looked at this scene. It was struck by lightning in an instant. In his eyes, it was unbelievable. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Of course it's because of you, a beast. After Uchiha-jun heard Itachi's words, he mocked directly. Because of me. Itachi was struck by lightning. At this time, he couldn't help but think of it. After he raised the butcher knife against his own people, his people transferred their resentment and anger towards him directly to Mikoto and Sasuke, persecuting Mikoto and Sasuke in various ways. For a moment, he felt ashamed and guilty. He was not guilty for raising the butcher knife against his own people. He was guilty for not being able to slaughter all the Uchiha people. His mother and brother were wronged. Where is Sasuke? How is Sasuke now? Itachi couldn't look directly at Mikoto at this moment. But, he was worried about Sasuke. So, he raised his eyes directly and stared fiercely at Uchiha-jun's face. Sasuke is fine. With Mikoto's self-sacrifice, protecting him from the wind and rain, he is now my adopted son. With my guidance, I believe that when he grows up, he will definitely become the most outstanding ninja in our Uchiha clan. He will definitely not be as ungrateful and heartless as you. What? Itachi's face suddenly changed after hearing what Uchiha-jun said. Let Uchiha-jun teach Sasuke. Uchiha Jun himself is a crazy, extreme racist. His thoughts are so dangerous. Let him teach Sasuke. Itachi didn't dare to imagine what Sasuke would become after being taught by him. Itachi would rather no one teach Sasuke. Even if Sasuke would achieve nothing in the future. He didn't want to see Sasuke being blackened by Uchiha Jun. Mom, why did you let this fool teach Sasuke? Don't you know that he is a crazy and extremely dangerous person? Under his teaching, Sasuke will only become a person like him. Narrow-minded, crazy and violent. Such people are harmful to the world and not beneficial. Mikoto was about to reply. But he was held down by Uchiha Jun's big hand. Uchiha Jun. Itachi was so angry watching this scene that his eyes were about to burst. His teeth were almost broken. Uchiha Jun looked at Itachi's appearance and became more and more excited. He even looked at Itachi provocatively. He made a few of Michael Jackson's signature moves. At the same time, he laughed jokingly. That's a good point, but it's a pity that Sasuke has no choice. Your mother can't refuse it either. Because, this is what I want. Asshole. Itachi cursed angrily. Beast, shut up. Just watch your mother perform quietly. Uchiha Jun was not interested in listening to Itachi now. Half an hour later, everything was over. Mikoto stood up and stepped aside. Looking at Itachi with a complicated expression. Itachi used to be the proudest son of her and Fugaku. What a pity. He made a decision that was completely contrary to the will of the family. In the past, she might have shared the same hatred with Itachi. Now, she gradually became like Uchiha Jun. Her thinking also changed drastically. At this moment, she could no longer agree with Itachi's original behavior. Mikoto, this is your eldest son. Wait a minute, you can take him to Konoha for a good stroll. Let him see what Konoha is like now. After Uchiha Jun's anger subsided, his words became more pleasant. Of course, the reason why Uchiha Jun dared to let Mikoto take Itachi out to Konoha was because he could suppress Itachi's strength. As Uchiha Jun performed a seal, the chakra in Itachi's body was quickly restrained. His pupil power was also restrained. At this moment, he was like an ordinary person. He could no longer use ninjutsu. He could no longer use Sharingan. Yes, 5th generation master. Mikoto responded. Izumi, let's go. Uchiha Jun glanced at Mikoto and Itachi. With a sneer, he left the secret room. Okay, Izumi responded, turned around and followed Uchiha Jun out. Shi Yan, Bu Feng, Bu Yuan, each carried 1 or 2 prisoners out of the secret room. Itachi and Mikoto looked at each other quietly, and did not speak for a long time. I don't know how long it took. Itachi took the lead to break the deadlock and said, Mom, yes. Hey, follow me. Mikoto seemed to know what Itachi wanted to say. But she didn't want to listen, so she turned around. Walked towards the door of the secret room. Itachi was silent for a while. He also followed Mikoto out of the secret room. The night of genocide. After the 5th generation killed Yu and Fugaku, the 3rd Hokage and Shimura Danzo led 8,000 ninjas here. But, they were no match for the 5th generation. 8,000 ninjas were killed by the 5th generation, Sarutobi Hiruzen was killed on the spot, and Danzo fled in the face of the battle. Mikoto said here. Itachi's expression changed several times in just a few seconds. I knew it, I knew Uchiha Jun was a disaster. Itachi said with some gritted teeth. Mikoto listened without any reaction. She continued. That night, not only did the 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen die, but also 2 advisors, Udatane Koharu and Mitokado Homura, were killed. Even the 3 major families of Shimura, Taiden, and Mito were exterminated by the 5th generation. How dare he? Itachi's pupils shrank to the extreme. You dare to attack your own people, why doesn't he dare to attack outsiders? Mikoto asked after hearing Itachi's words. He felt even more sad. It's different. I do this for Konoha. If he does this, Konoha will only fall into chaos. Itachi retorted. However, in fact, after the 3rd Hokage, the 2 advisors and the 3 major families were destroyed, Konoha did not fall into chaos. The 5th generation master quickly stabilized the situation. Mikoto snorted coldly. How could it be? Itachi evidence. Then he seemed to think of something and asked hurriedly, why are there only Shimura, Tachina, Mitomen? What about Sarutobi? Could it be that Uchiha Jun showed mercy to Sarutobi? That's not 5th generation master showing mercy, but 3rd Hokage is too smart. He seemed to have predicted that they might fail before the battle even started. So, he let Sarutobi's family leave Konoha in advance. Mikoto sneered. That's good. Itachi was slightly relieved. Mikoto looked at Itachi's reaction, and was so angry that he asked back. Itachi, do you know how many people are in the Sarutobi clan? 500 people. Itachi was slightly startled and made a bold guess. After all, the Sarutobi clan is just a small or medium-sized ninja clan. He said 500, which is already a big guess. No, Mikoto shook his head. 300, Itachi said again. Guess in a big direction, guess boldly. Mikoto said. Could it be 1,000? Itachi was slightly startled. Keep going. 2,000. It seems that you don't know much about the 3rd Hokage you admire. Mikoto sneered. Could it be 3,000? Itachi asked in surprise. Wrong, it's 4,800 people. Among them, there are more than ninjas. Mikoto sneered. How is it possible? Itachi was shocked. Shocked, right. The Sarutobi clan, which had less than 300 people back then, has grown nearly 20 times in the hands of Sarutobi Hiruzen in the past few decades. Mikoto said. So what? What happened to the Sarutobi clan after they left? Itachi didn't think in the direction Mikoto said. He only cared about the survival of the Sarutobi clan. Destroyed. What about 3,000 Sarutobi troops? The 5th generation will still be wiped out with an order. Mikoto sneered. How could Uchiha-jun do this? These people are the foundation of Konoha. What about his overall view? Itachi shouted in disbelief. After Mikoto heard what Itachi said, it was also a little unbelievable. She didn't expect Itachi would actually say such a thing. For a moment, he laughed in anger. Sarutobi Hiruzen cultivated 3,000 Sarutobi in a few years. You don't want to know where Sarutobi Hiruzen got so many resources from. The Sarutobi clan plundered the interests of many people and seized the property of many people. Instead, I think that the 5th generation killed these people and hurt Konoha's foundation. Quote. Itachi, you are not really a good Uchiha. No matter what the Uchiha ninjas do, you can always find faults. You look down on this and that. Now, I have shown the evil of Sarutobi Hiruzen and the Sarutobi clan in front of you, but you choose to turn a blind eye. Mikoto felt sad. This Uchiha Itachi is really hypocritical. He is extremely harsh to his own people, but he is as lenient as a saint to outsiders. She couldn't believe it. Itachi was slightly startled when he heard what Mikoto said. Then he shook his head. This is different. Uchiha wants to rebel, and no matter how many people there are in the Sarutobi clan, they will not rebel. Although there is a small loss, the big integrity is intact. A small loss, but the integrity is intact. Mikoto sneered. Sarutobi Hiruzen is the Hokage, the biggest umbrella of the Sarutobi clan. Who are they rebelling against? Mother, you have changed. Itachi glanced at Mikoto and felt that the current Mikoto was completely different from before. The past Mikoto is gentle and intellectual. No matter what he says, he will believe it, and he will stand firmly on his side. For a long time, Mikoto sighed and took a step back. Forget it, let's not say these, let me take you to see some changes in the wood leaf. After, Uchiha Mikoto took the Itachi to stroll around the wood leaf. Defense 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. I saw the new city outside the wood. I saw the newly born wood leaf. Itachi gradually became silent. Mikoto thought he was awake. Uchiha-jun is indeed a disaster. He messed up Konoha and now the land of fire. I am afraid that it won't be long before the whole world will be in chaos because of him. You are hopeless, Itachi. Mikoto looked at Itachi for a long time and completely gave up on Itachi. Chapter 91. Mikoto knew that she couldn't change Itachi's mind. So, she had no interest in continuing to hang out with Itachi. She took Itachi back to the Uchiha tribe. At first, he didn't want to go back. But Mikoto, who had lost patience with him, didn't give in. She just lifted his neck and forcibly brought him back. Itachi now had his chakra and pupil power imprisoned. He was just like an ordinary person. But Mikoto had the strength of a Jonin. It would be easy to bring him back. Mom, can I go see Sasuke? Itachi begged. No, Mikoto refused without even thinking about it. She knew how much influence Itachi had on Sasuke. She had finally managed to brainwash Sasuke. She told him not to hate Uchiha-jun. He had to worship Uchiha-jun. If Itachi could see Sasuke, then all her previous hard work would be in vain. For Sasuke, and for herself, she absolutely cannot let Itachi see Sasuke. Mom, you are so cruel. How can you become like this in just a few days? Itachi shouted angrily. Humph, no matter how cruel I am not as cruel as you. Why don't I let you see Sasuke? Don't you know? You will kill Sasuke, he is your biological brother. Mikoto said coldly. I didn't think of harming Sasuke, I just want him to return to the right path. Shut up. Mikoto's cold voice interrupted Itachi's speech. No longer talk to him. Carried him to Uchiha-jun's house. Yo, you are back. Uchiha-jun saw Mikoto carrying Itachi back and couldn't help laughing. How do you feel? He is hopeless. Mikoto glanced at Itachi and said in a deep voice. Really? Uchiha-jun's mouth curled up. It seems that the mother and son have completely fallen out. This is good. Mikoto doesn't have any thoughts in his heart. What do you think is the most appropriate way for me to deal with Itachi? Uchiha-jun's eyes swept over all the women in the hall and smiled. In this hall, besides Uchiha-jun, Izumi, Yugao, Tsunade, Shizune, Wooden Golem, Bufeng, and Buyuan were all there. What else can we do? Just send it back to the underworld, Izumi said with a hateful look at Itachi. The next moment, he seemed to have thought of something. He shook his head and said, not appropriate. Orochimaru also controls the reanimation jutsu. If Itachi is sent back to the underworld, he will most likely be reincarnated by Orochimaru in the future. Just seal him up and let him accompany the first generation and the second generation. Tsunade rolled her eyes when she heard this. Izumi's suggestion is good. Uchiha-jun slapped Tsunade's thigh, causing his steel hand to tremble. It has been more than 10 days since Tsunade was captured. He has been trained for so long. Even if Tsunade still has a sense of pride in his heart. But, facing Uchiha-jun, there is also an instinctive fierceness and obedience. Itachi had seen Tsunade before. He did not expect that even the legendary female ninja has now become a prisoner of Uchiha-jun. Just like his mother, being trained and obedient by Uchiha-jun. For a moment, his heart was greatly shocked. Uchiha-jun ignored the reactions of Tsunade and Itachi, smiled faintly and said, in this case, let's seal it up. I'll go get the sealing scroll, Shi Yan said. Then she turned and left. A few minutes later, Shi Yan came back with a few sealing scrolls. Then she looked at Uchiha-jun. Let's start. Uchiha-jun nodded. Shi Yan knows some sealing techniques. It's not difficult to seal Itachi who has no ability to resist. After getting Uchiha-jun's approval, Shi Yan threw out 2 scrolls and quickly formed seals with both hands. The next moment, the seal scroll opened quickly, and it flew up like 2 long dragons. Like a swimming dragon, it flew towards Itachi. No matter how Itachi struggled, no matter how unwilling he was, he could not escape the fate of being sealed. Then, Shi Yan threw out a red, seal, character. It stuck to Itachi, who was rolled into a mummy. In an instant, Itachi was completely motionless. Then, Shi Yan took out another scroll, and it sealed Itachi to its king. Then, it handed it to Uchiha-jun. After Uchiha-jun took it, he used a spiritual technique. With a bang, a white cat appeared in front of Uchiha-jun. Jun, why did you call me here? The white cat shouted, help me hide this scroll in the cat world. Uchiha-jun handed the scroll in his hand to the white cat. Understood. The white cat took the scroll, and then blinked his eyes, looking at Uchiha-jun innocently. Go, get a fish. Uchiha-jun's mouth twitched, and he said to Shi Yan. Hi, Shi Yan responded. He walked to the kitchen. He soon came back with a 3 or 4 pound sea fish. Thank you. The white cat took the scroll in one hand and the big fish in the other. With a bang, he disappeared again. He had returned to the cat world. After watching the white cat leave, Uchiha-jun looked at Shizune. 5th generation master. Shizune sensed Uchiha-jun's gaze at the first time, and immediately called out timidly. Shizune, next, I need your help with something. Uchiha-jun said. Point 0. What is it? Shizune said timidly. Help me change my eyes. Uchiha-jun said. He has successfully controlled the Shikigami, although he has not yet controlled the Flying Thunder God. But he already knows how to practice. The follow-up progress cannot be rushed. And the 8 inner gates also officially entered yesterday after increasing their physical strength. Other forbidden technique, Uchiha-jun didn't think much of it. Therefore, Uchiha-jun decided to put the plan of eye replacement on the agenda. Eye replacement. Shizun's eyes widened. He quickly asked. 5th generation, is there something wrong with your eyes? My eyes are fine, but Mangekyo Sharingan evolves, and I need to replace another pair of eyes. Uchiha-jun said in a deep voice. Can Mangekyo Sharingan evolve? Shizun was shocked. Of course, otherwise what do you think Madara relies on to compete with the first Hokage, just 10 pairs of ordinary Mangekyo? Uchiha-jun didn't care that the secret of Fengwasho Sharingan was known by others. Because they knew it. It wouldn't change anything. Isn't it? Shizun asked. Of course not. It's the eternal Mangekyo, Uchiha-jun said. Eternal Mangekyo. Tsunade suddenly realized. Yes, if you use too much ordinary Mangekyo, you will go blind. I once heard from my second grandfather that Madara took his brother's eyes. Obviously, he merged his brother's eyes, so he evolved into Yongbai Mangekyo. Snap. The moment Tsunade's voice fell, Uchiha-jun slapped her thigh directly. What? Tsunade shouted a little aggrieved. She didn't say anything wrong, why did he hit her? There is one thing you said wrong. Madara didn't take his brother's eyes, but his brother was severely injured by your second grandfather and couldn't be treated, so he took the initiative to give his eyes to Madara. Uchiha-jun corrected. Whatever you say. Tsunade was not going to argue with Uchiha-jun. 5th generation, Tsunade's medical skills are better than mine, why did you let me help you change your eyes? Shizun asked. 2 reasons. First, eye transplants don't require advanced medical skills. You can do it. Second, I don't trust Tsunade. Uchiha-jun said with a faint smile. So, the 5th generation adults believe me. Shizun's eyes lit up. No, it's because you are easier to control than Tsunade. If you dare to do anything wrong with the surgery, not only will you die, but you will also die. So, Shizun, you don't want Tsunade to get hurt, right? Uchiha-jun said. Oh, Shizun felt disappointed after hearing what Uchiha-jun said. She thought that Uchiha-jun trusted her and asked her to help with the eye transplant. But it was because she was easy to control. What's more, in the end, Uchiha-jun didn't even use Tsunade to threaten her. She was so sad. At the same time, Tsunade was not happy after hearing what Uchiha-jun said. He shouted, Shizun has evil thoughts, why do you blame me? This is unfair. Shizun is your maid. If she has evil thoughts, it must be because of your teaching. I won't blame you. Who should I blame? Uchiha-jun smiled faintly. You are talking nonsense, Tsunade said unhappily. Uchiha-jun raised his hand. Tsunade's neck shrank suddenly. He said quickly, I won't say anything, I won't say anything. 5th generation, when do we start? Shizun quickly came to Tsunade's rescue. Now then, Uchiha-jun said. Where shall we do it? Shizun asked. In the secret room of this house. Uchiha-jun said. Hi, Shizun responded. Xian, Bufeng, Buyuan, help get the medical equipment. Hi, very soon. Chia-jun led the 4 people to the secret room. But Quan and others did not follow. At this moment, in the hall, Quan was staring at Tsunade and threatened, you'd better not have any crooked thoughts, otherwise. My chakra has been sealed, I can't have any crooked thoughts. Tsunade pouted. Not to mention, she didn't have any crooked thoughts. Even if she did, she didn't dare to really act. After all, more than 10 days of training. The psychological shadow she had on Uchiha is not gone. Secret room. After Xian, Bufeng and Buyuan put the medical equipment in place, they left the secret room. Soon, only Uchiha-jun and Shizun were left in the secret room. Let's start, Uchiha-jun said to Shizun. 5th generation, do you want anesthesia? Shizun asked. No need, Uchiha-jun said in a deep voice. As a ninja, he couldn't bear the pain of just digging out his eyes. You know, before, he had a head-on fight with the 4th Raikage and was pierced through the heart, but he didn't even frown. Okay, Shizun was not surprised. After responding, he began to operate on Uchiha Jun. The left eye was quickly dug out by Shizune. However, just when Shizune put Uchiha Jun's eyes into saline, Uchiha Jun felt a surge of energy quickly condensing in his eye sockets. And then, Uchiha Jun felt that the vision of his left eye had been restored again. Ah, 5th generation master, your eye. Shizune turned her head and saw Uchiha Jun's eyes that had been restored. She was surprised. Then she looked at the bottle of saline next to her. There was another eye in the bottle. However, that eye seemed to have died. It was completely lifeless. 5th generation master, what is going on? Shizune said in surprise. Uchiha Jun touched his eyes and did not answer Shizune's words. High-speed regeneration is a magical power that comes with the soul and cannot be resisted. Once it is injured, it will repair itself. In this way, can I still merge other people's eyes? Uchiha Jun thought. Shizune saw that Uchiha Jun did not answer her. But she fell into deep thought. She did not dare to speak nonsense. She had to sit quietly aside, looking at Uchiha Jun. After a long time, Uchiha Jun came back to his senses. He glanced at Shizune and said, Shizune, I don't need your help anymore. Go out first. Yes, 5th generation, Shizune responded. Uchiha watched Shizune leave. He then looked at Shisui's eyes in the saline bottle next to him. Now I can only compete with high-speed regeneration in speed, muttered to himself. Uchiha quickly dug out his left eye. At the same time, he grabbed Shisui's left eye and stuffed it into the eye socket. Instantly, Uchiha Jun felt a surge of rejection. A force squeezed the water eye out of Uchiha Jun's eye socket. Afterwards, a new eye appeared in Uchiha Jun's eye socket. It was so bright and clear. It's over. Uchiha Jun smiled bitterly. It's not possible to change the eye. I can only consider other ways to transfer the pupil power of other Mangekyo to my Sharingan. Uchiha Jun muttered to himself. Put Shisui's Sharingan back into the saline solution and seal it again. Put it in the clothes. Walk out of the secret room. Brother Jun, how come you came out so quickly? What's the result? Izumi saw Uchiha Jun coming out and hurried to meet him. Asked with a concerned face. Failed. Uchiha Jun smiled bitterly. How could this happen? Izumi exclaimed in surprise. After Shizune came out, she didn't tell them about Uchiha Jun's situation, so even Izumi didn't know about Uchiha Jun's situation. My recovery speed is much faster. Saying so, Uchiha who walked to the side, pulled out a knife and chopped at his wrist. With a sound of puff, Uchiha Jun's entire wrist fell off. Blood flowed all over the floor. Then, the next moment, the blood stopped flowing out directly. Then, Uchiha whose palm grew out at a speed visible to the naked eye. Everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. That's it. Even if I dug out my eyes at a very fast speed and installed Shisui's eyes. But before the nerves between my eyes and Shisui's eyes could connect, the newly bred eyes pushed Shisui's eyes out. Uchiha Jun said with a bitter smile. Hiss. After hearing what Uchiha Jun said, everyone did not feel sorry for his experience at all. But they took a breath of cold air at his recovery power that perverted to ultimate. Brother Jun, so even if I keep chopping you with a knife, I can't kill you. Yuan Lien said. In theory, it is true. Uchiha Jun nodded. What if I chop off your head directly? Tsunade asked. Uchiha Jun gave Tsunade a playful look. Do you really want to chop off my head? No, I'm just talking. Tsunade waved his hand and smiled. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Even if you cut off my head, I won't die. Because the head will grow a body by itself. If the head is broken, it means the body will grow the head. How about it? Do you feel desperate now? Uchiha Jun looked at Tsunade jokingly. Hee, that's possible. Tsunade's mouth twitched. In fact, at this moment, she was indeed desperate. The wooden golem on the other side was almost the same. Completely gave up the idea of resistance. Following a person who will not die and is powerful. There is no hope of winning at all. So, Jun-ji, you are now immortal. Izumi's eyes lit up. Immortality is a bit exaggerated, but in today's ninja world, no one can kill me. Uchiha Jun said confidently. Great. Izumi's eyes lit up. Jun-ji, your recovery speed is so fast, your eyes can grow back quickly after being dug out. If they keep growing, then our Uchiha clan, or even everyone in Konoha, can have a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan. Izumi suddenly said something whimsical. Although, this idea hurt Uchiha-jun a little. But, once the idea comes up, it can't be deleted. It's that simple. Uchiha-jun heard this and couldn't help but laugh and cry. Look at my hand. Uchiha-jun pointed to the hand he had just chopped off. The color has completely changed. You can tell it's not fresh at a glance. It's like meat that has been left for a few days. It has completely lost its activity and vitality. How could this happen? Izumi looked in the direction Uchiha-jun pointed and exclaimed on the spot. I don't know, maybe some mysterious power carried the vitality of this hand back into my body. Uchiha-jun said. Is that so? Izumi looked dazed. Then he thought of something again. He said again, by the way, Jun brother. After the eye replacement failed, can you still evolve the eternal Mangekyo? Of course, Uchiha-jun said confidently. After the eye replacement failed, I already have a new idea. But, I need to supplement some new knowledge. Really, that's good. Izumi heard what Uchiha-jun said, and then he was relieved. Time flies. A few days passed. Just yesterday, Konoha had completed the first round of civil service examinations. Today, the list of admissions was officially announced. For a time, Konoha's new city area. Some people like it and some people worry. Those who are admitted are naturally overjoyed. Those who are rich will naturally hold a big banquet and celebrate. Those who were a little tight on money would find a cheaper tavern to have a few drinks to celebrate. And those who failed the exam naturally became lost and sad. They could only pray secretly that such civil service exams would come again in the future. After the exam, they did not directly send those who passed the exam to the hospital. Instead, they all stayed in Konoha for a week of training. This training was not only to make those civil servants who were about to join the job proficient in the business as soon as possible. It was also to teach and strengthen their loyalty to Konoha. At the same time, Uchiha-jun also had a very fulfilling life these days. In the morning, he was completely immersed in the pile of books. Reading, attracting the knowledge and secret techniques passed down by the Uchiha clan for thousands of years. Occasionally, he would flip through the Book of Seals and other book boxes in the Hokage building. In the afternoon, he practiced Flying Thunder God technique and 8 inner gates. In the past few days, Uchiha-jun used the permanent amplification ability to increase his perception, nerve reaction, and speed. In addition, every day Uchiha-jun let his 9 shadow clone practice Flying Thunder God together. Therefore, the learning progress of Flying Thunder God is very fast. It can be used smoothly. However, it is not agile and fast enough. Therefore, next, Uchiha-jun only needs to let his shadow clone practice again and again. After thoroughly practicing Flying Thunder God, it can be used in combat. And the 8 inner gates was also practiced to the 6th gate by Uchiha-jun. After all, he is not afraid of injury. Physical strength, speed, strength, reaction, have all been amplified. Such a body has a natural advantage in practicing the 8 inner gates. Break the 3rd gate in 1 day. Break the 4th gate in 2 days. Break the 5th gate in 3 days. Open the 6th gate in 5 days. Compared with before, Uchiha-jun today has undergone earth-shaking changes in both ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu. The overall strength has more than doubled. Secret room. Now, I have 2 ways to make Mangekyo Sharingan evolve into the Eye of Eternity. The first is to fuse Hashirama's cells. Unfortunately, Hashirama's body was taken away by Danzo. After his death, Hashirama's body and all related things were not found on him. After that, I asked the ninja to search Danzo's lair seriously, but unfortunately, Hashirama's body was still not found. Now if I want to get Hashirama's cells, I'm afraid I can only find them from Orochimaru. As a crazy scientist, Orochimaru has studied Hashirama's cells for many years and has a close personal relationship with Danzo. He must have Hashirama's cells. However, Orochimaru is a coward who is afraid of death and absolutely unwilling to put himself in danger. If he knew I was going to find him, he would definitely hide. I don't know how long I have to wait to get Hashirama's cells from Orochi. So, this method can only be put on hold for the time being. Quote. Another method is the method I thought of before, absorbing the eye power of another pair of Mangekyo Sharingan. After reading books constantly in the past few days, I got some inspiration from the ninjutsu of transcription seal. Since Itachi can seal his eye power in Sasuke's Sharingan by transcription seal, then I can also seal the eye power in Shisui Mangekyo Sharingan into my eyes in a similar way. Then let it slowly merge with my own pupil power. Uchiha Jun muttered to himself. He clasped his hands together. With a bang, a shadow clone stood opposite Uchiha Jun. Wait, you use chakra to stimulate DK's Sharingan, Uchiha said to Shadow Clone. Understood, Shadow Clone responded. Begin. Shadow Clone held the saline bottle with both hands. Chakra flowed out from both hands, quickly soaked the bottle, and poured into Sharingan. In saline, Shisui's eyes, stimulated by chakra, immediately changed. After all, Sharingan is so easy to use. Whether it is transplanted into the eye socket or installed on the arm, as long as there is chakra stimulation, it can work. Now it is no exception even in the saline bottle. Yes, that's it. Let it transform into the square flower tube Sharingan state, Uchiha Jun said. The clone heard this and increased the output of chakra. Soon, in the saline bottle, Shisui's Sharingan quickly transformed into the state of Mangekyo Sharingan. Under the control of Shadow Clone, he happened to look at Uchiha Jun, who opened Mangekyo Sharingan. In an instant, there was a connection between the two Sharingan. As long as Shadow Clone wanted, he could even control the Mangekyo Sharingan in the saltwater bottle and release the eye technique on Uchiha Jun. Transfer his eye power to my eyes. Bab. After Shadow Clone responded, controlling Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan to transfer the eye power to Uchiha Jun's eyes. And Uchiha Jun also took the initiative to draw Shisui's eye power to flow into the depths of his own eyes at the moment when Shisui's eye power flowed out. Both parties exerted their strength at the same time. Soon, the eye power of Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan was squeezed out completely. The Sharingan pattern in the saltwater bottle also changed from the form of Mangekyo changed into 3 Magatama, then 2 Magatama, and finally Magatama. In the end, it became a pair of black eyes without Magatama. At this time, Uchiha Jun had already drawn all the pupil power in Shisui Sharingan into his Mangekyo. But Uchiha Jun did not dare to be careless. Because these pupil powers are not his yet. There is a risk of loss at any time. Uchiha Jun closed his eyes. At the same time, he formed a seal. Writing wheel seal. As this technique was completed, Good Jiao Jiao Shisui's pupil power was completely sealed in Uchiha Jun's Sharingan. It began to rub against Uchiha Jun's own pupil power. Or repulsion, or tolerance. Everything is evolving. Success. Uchiha Jun breathed a sigh of relief. The initial plan has been successful. Next, it depends on whether they can merge naturally. The result that they cannot merge can only mean that the two pupil powers conflict with each other and have strong repulsion. Even if Uchiha Jun transplanted Shisui's eyes, there is a great possibility that he could not evolve the eternal Mangekyo. If they merged, the result would be self-evident. He successfully evolved the eternal Mangekyo. According to the progress of the fusion of these two pupil powers, it will take at least 3 days to get results. Therefore, during this period, I cannot use pupil techniques, and my eyes seem to become extremely sensitive, fragile, and afraid of strong light. Well, I'd better put on sunglasses first. Uchiha Jun, who had been prepared, picked up a pair of black glasses from the side and put them on himself. In fact, besides sunglasses, he also had eye masks, bandages, eye drops, and other things around him. Brother Jun, how are you? The moment Uchiha Jun walked out of the secret room, Izumi immediately surrounded him and asked with concern. Success. Uchiha Jun rubbed Izumi's head and smiled. Great, I knew that you would definitely jump in the future, brother. Yuan smiled happily. But soon, she noticed that Uchiha Jun's image was different from before. She hurriedly said, Brother Jun, why are you wearing sunglasses? The pupil power has just been integrated, and it takes some time to adapt. It will be fine in a few days, Uchiha Jun said. Really? Izumi suddenly realized. Immediately, he pulled Uchiha Jun's hand and smiled. Brother Jun, after breakfast, I specially asked the servants to prepare today's lunch. It's rich. Let's celebrate together. Okay, Uchiha Jun smiled faintly. Then, Everyone went into the restaurant together. Well, Mikoto, Tsunade, Shiyan, Shizune, and Wooden Golem all came together. After all, it was a celebration. It was naturally more lively with more people. After everyone had a hearty lunch, it was naturally a more joyful time. Uchiha Jun, who was in high spirits, fought against many people alone. But he defeated the enemy step by step and finally had to kneel down and beg for mercy. When the battle stopped, it was already late at night. Time was in a hurry. Another few days passed. Konoha's civil servants had been trained. One by one, they received the appointment letter and took office. Kakashi also recruited hundreds of wandering ninjas. However, these ninjas were not assigned tasks immediately. Instead, they were trained like those civil servants. At this time, they were undergoing ideological transformation. This morning, Uchiha Jun had just woken up from his sleep. He instinctively wanted to take his sunglasses and put them on. However, an unconscious glance. He saw the sunlight outside the window. He didn't feel any discomfort. Uchiha Jun's action of reaching for the sunglasses was paused. My eyes have recovered, Uchiha Jun muttered to himself. No accidents, my pupil power has completely merged, and my Mangekyo Sharingan has also evolved into the Eternal Eye. Uchiha Jun stood up, walked towards the window, and looked at the rising sun. He didn't feel any discomfort. Then, he mobilized the chakra in his body to infuse his eyes. From time to time, 2 5-pointed star Kikyo seals appeared. The two major pupil techniques of limited time amplification and permanent amplification (DA) can now be used normally. Moreover, the amplification multiple seems to have doubled. It reached 20 times, and his chakra also increased 7 or 8 times as his Sharingan evolved into the Eternal Mangekyo. If he only had more than 70 cards of chakra before. Now, he has a full 600 cards of chakra. Moreover, this chakra can also use the permanent amplification pupil technique to increase it by 2 times. Uchiha Jun didn't hesitate at all. He used the permanent amplification directly on the chakra in his body. Boom! A stream of chakra overflowed from Uchiha Jun's body, blowing all the clothes in the bedroom to the ground. However, Uchiha Jun didn't care at all. Because, at this time, his chakra volume reached 1,200 calories. It can be said that he was reborn. At this time, Uchiha Jun was in a very good mood and couldn't help laughing. Brother Jun, what are you laughing at? Izumi, who had just finished washing, pushed the door and walked in, and saw Uchiha Jun laughing, and asked curiously. Izumi, my Sharingan has evolved into Eternal Mangekyo. Uchiha said to him. Really? Izumi was also surprised to hear this. Let's go outside and try the power of Eternal Mangekyo, Uchiha Jun said. He then hugged Izumi's slender waist. He jumped directly out of the window. Before landing, Uchiha opened Susanoo. At this time, Uchiha Jun's Susanoo is no longer just the upper body. It is a complete body. He is wearing armor. He has wings on his back. He carries a golden giant axe. He is a giant as tall as 100 meters. He suddenly flaps his wings. He flies high into the sky. Wow, Jun brother, your Susanoo can actually fly. Izumi, who is standing in the space on Susanoo's forehead, shouted excitedly to Uchiha Jun next to him. This is the complete Susanoo. Uchiha Jun smiled faintly. Great, a hint of envy flashed in Izumi's eyes. Izumi, do you want to evolve into Eternal Mangekyo? Uchiha asked. After Uchiha Jun merged the pupil power of Shisui's eyes and evolved into Eternal Mangekyo, he still had 3 Mangekyo Sharingan in his hand. One of them is Itachi's. 2 are Fugaku's. These Sharingan are no longer of much value in Uchiha Jun's hands. Instead of giving it to others, why not give it to Izumi? Brother Jun, can I? Izumi blinked her big eyes and looked at Uchiha Jun expectantly. You are my favorite Izumi, of course you can. Uchiha Jun kissed the corner of Izumi's mouth and smiled. Brother Jun, I want to evolve the Eternal Mangekyo. After hearing what Uchiha Jun said, Izumi no longer hesitated and nodded heavily in response. Okay, when I go back, I will give you Fugaku's Mangekyo. Uchiha Jun said. Thank you, Brother Jun. Izumi looked at Uchiha Jun with a touched face. If you really want to thank me, then you have to perform well tonight. Uchiha Jun smiled mischievously. Brother Jun is annoying. Izumi blushed and gave Uchiha Jun a white look. Uchiha Jun flew over from high altitude while controlling Susanoo. For a while, many people on the ground noticed them. There was no way, Susanoo was too big. And it was shining with gold. It was impossible not to attract attention. Look, what's that in the sky? I know, it's the 5th generation Susanoo. I've seen it in the previous battle. I've seen it too, it's the 5th generation Susanoo. But it's a bit strange, can the 5th generation Susanoo still fly? Besides, it doesn't seem to be as big as it is now. Don't you understand this? The 5th generation's strength must have greatly improved, so his Susanoo has also grown. That makes sense. Great, the stronger the 5th generation's adults are, the less people will dare to bully us. Long live the 5th generation's adults. Long live. Brother Jun, you seem to be very popular. Izumi said with a smile. HMPH, there's nothing I can do. In addition to my strength, I have actually brought them huge benefits. If they don't welcome me, who can they welcome? Uchiha Jun said with a smile. But he didn't pay too much attention to the cheers of the people below. Soon he took Izumi out of Konoha. He came to a barren mountain. Let's do it here. Uchiha Jun stood on Susanoo's forehead. He looked around. There were barren mountains all around. And they were not high, and there were not many tree beds. At a glance, all the situations were in sight. Uchiha Jun manipulated Susanoo to pull out the giant axe behind him and chopped it down in front of him. Exclamation mark. A huge golden slashing wave burst out. It plowed forward in a mighty manner. 1, 2, 3. The golden slashing wave plowed thousands of meters. It just dissipated. More than a dozen mountaintops were split in two. Uchiha Jun did not stop. He turned around and swept out in another direction with an axe. I saw a nearly 1,000-meter-long golden slashing wave whistling out. All the mountaintops were directly cut in half along the way. Boom. For a moment, the mountains collapsed. Everything fell. The scene was extremely spectacular. So strong. Seeing this scene, Quan was deeply shocked. At this moment, she suddenly realized. It turned out that humans could also launch attacks like natural disasters. Uchiha was also very satisfied with the effect. The power of Susanoo has been tested, and the power is okay. Let's go, let's find a place and try my new eye technique. That's right, after Uchiha Jun merged Uchiha Shisui's eye experience. He also inherited his distinguished heavenly gods. At this time, he has 4 eye techniques. They are permanent amplification, limited time amplification, permanent distinguished heavenly gods, and limited time distinguished heavenly gods. Uchiha Jun said, and then controlled Susanoo to fly away. Not long after, Uchiha Jun found a mountain stronghold. There were still people on the mountain stronghold. So Susanoo was lowered. Boss, look, what is that? At this time, the bandits in the mountain stronghold also found the golden Susanoo approaching. Could this be a god descending to earth? Wait, there is someone inside the golden giant. Shut up, where did this person come from? This is clearly a god who can bless us. Everyone, pay attention, when the god descends, we will pray to him together. The bandit leader shouted hurriedly. Yes, as the golden Susanoo landed. All the bandits knelt down directly, and worshipped Uchiha Jun and Izumi enthusiastically and sincerely. Greetings to the gods. All the gods are blessed. Great gods, please bless your believers. Are you bandits? Uchiha Jun did not enjoy their worship, interrupted their prayers and asked. DB. The bandits who were worshipping Uchiha Jun and Izumi froze when they heard Uchiha Jun's words. I thought the gods were here to punish them. He explained with a look of hesitation. Please forgive our sins, we are forced to do this. That's good. Uchiha Jun didn't bother to listen to their nonsense. He used the pupil technique directly on the leading bandit, limited time distinguished heavenly gods. The bandit leader was instantly hit. But he didn't look strange at all. Kill them. Uchiha Jun didn't speak, but used the distinguished heavenly gods. Gods conveyed the command to the thief's leader. Seeing this, the thief was in a mess. Uchiha Jun stopped distinguished heavenly gods. Uchiha Jun said. I killed him. The bandit looked horrified. Although distinguished heavenly gods can manipulate people's minds, they will not let people forget that memory. With Uchiha Jun's reminder, soon, he remembered everything. Yes, He did kill the person. Ah, you are the one who did it, all this is your fault, right? The bandit no longer called the gods at this time, and asked Uchiha-jun tremblingly. You can say that. You have completed the task I gave you very well, you can commit suicide. Uchiha-jun said. The bandit leader was manipulated by Uchiha-jun again. He naturally swung the knife in his hand and cut his own neck. Puff! The moment blood gushed out. The bandit also fell down completely. This is distinguished heavenly gods. Gods, they can actually manipulate others, which seems to be more terrifying and weird than Kaiju. Izumi was surprised. This is only limited in time, and the power is not that strong. Permanent ones are scary, because permanent ones directly put a thought stamp in a person's mind. Uchiha-jun said. 0. At the beginning, Itachi had used it on him. For that thought stamp, Uchiha was still quite impressed. All human actions are determined by human thoughts. When a person is stamped with a thought stamp, what he does is impossible to violate the core content of the thought stamp. Even if the other party is an ambitious person, as long as he is stamped with a thought stamp by you, and the core content of the thought stamp you stamped on him is no betrayal, then he will never betray you. He won't even have that idea, because his thoughts have been fixed by you. So scary. Izumi shrank his neck. It's so scary. Uchiha-jun smiled faintly. At that time, it was because his mental power was 10 times stronger than Itachi's that the group did not let Itachi succeed. Ordinary people, facing this ideological stamp, they will never get rid of it in their lifetime. We have tried everything we should have tried, we should go back, it's still early, we can still catch up with breakfast, otherwise it will be noon. Uchiha-jun said, and then controlled Shuzongtian to go away. Aren't you going to try the permanent distinguished heavenly gods? Quan asked. No need, Uchiha-jun said, because he has already thought about who the first ideological stamp was for. After breakfast, Uchiha-jun summoned Tsunade. That's right, Uchiha-jun's first permanent distinguished heavenly god's target is Tsunade. Because, next, he needs Tsunade to replace Quan's eyes. At this time, if Tsunade can't remain absolutely loyal, who knows what she will do. Although Shizun's medical skills are good, they are still far behind Tsunade. Uchiha-jun didn't use Tsunade before, but used Shizun because he was afraid that Tsunade would do something tricky. Although, he was not afraid. But, he didn't want to cause so many accidents. Now, he is sure that Tsunade will remain absolutely loyal to him. Naturally, he has to arrange the best medical ninja for Quan. You are looking for me. Tsunade looked at Uchiha-jun, with a flash of fear and resignation in her eyes. After being trained by Uchiha-jun for so many days, she instinctively feared Uchiha-jun. But she is still Hashirama's granddaughter after all. After decades of being high and mighty, her pride has not been wiped out. So, when facing Uchiha-jun, her reaction is quite complicated. However, she dare not irritate Uchiha-jun casually. Sit down. Uchiha-jun motioned Tsunade to sit down. Tsunade didn't know what Uchiha-jun wanted to do. But he didn't want to irritate Uchiha-jun because of such a small matter. So he sat down obediently. Ask you a question. Uchiha-jun looked at Tsunade and said. What question? Tsunade responded a little blankly. Tsunade, are you willing to be loyal to me forever? Uchiha-jun said. Tisk. Tsunade couldn't help laughing when she heard it. Is it funny? Uchiha-jun said expressionlessly. I'm sorry, I didn't know you would ask me such a question, and I was not mentally prepared for a moment, so I couldn't help laughing. Tsunade restrained her smile, forcing herself to hold back her laughter, and said seriously. What kind of relationship is there between her and Uchiha-jun? Doesn't Uchiha-jun know? He actually asked such a question. It's so funny. Or does he think that after training her for more than 10 days, she won't betray him? The fifth Hokage, Uchiha-jun, who has the fruit of killing, shouldn't be so naive. Answer my question, Uchiha-jun said calmly. I said, I am willing to be loyal to you, will you believe it? Tsunade asked. Yes, Uchiha-jun laughed. This is the answer he wanted, whether it was sincere or false. Ah, Tsunade was stunned. In that case, then, Tsunade, I will accept your loyalty. Uchiha-jun said seriously. Look into my eyes. Tsunade instinctively raised his head and looked at Uchiha-jun after hearing what Uchiha-jun said. His eyes met Uchiha-jun instantly. At this time, Uchiha-jun had already opened the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. The energy condensed by the five-pointed star Kikyo seal was released directly. Distinguished Heavenly God's light. Om. In an instant, a brilliant golden light flashed, reflected in Tsunade's eyes. At this time, Tsunade's sea of consciousness. A vague voice kept echoing. Always loyal to Uchiha-jun. Always loyal to Uchiha-jun. Always loyal to Uchiha-jun. The voice became louder and clearer, gradually condensed into a thought steel seal, falling towards Tsunade's sea of consciousness. Tsunade's mental power is far inferior to Uchiha-jun, who opened the eternal eye. There was not even a little resistance. The ideological stamp was planted right away. Bang! Wake up! Uchiha-jun snapped his fingers. Tsunade slowly opened her eyes. When she looked at Uchiha-jun again, she felt that he was particularly pleasing to the eye. She became docile. She called out respectfully from the bottom of her heart, "Fifth-generation master." Yes, Uchiha-jun nodded calmly, although he had stamped Tsunade's mind. Maybe there would be less fun in the future. But he also succeeded in getting a woman who would always be loyal to him. One gain and one loss. Whether it was good or bad, only Uchiha knew. After using Distinguished Heavenly Gods on Tsunade, Uchiha-jun was no longer on guard against Tsunade. He unsealed her on the spot. "Recover your condition well, I'll need you to take action later," Uchiha-jun said. "Understood," Tsunade responded, started to stretch her muscles. Uchiha-jun glanced at her and called Quan and others over. "Quick, Quan, are you ready? Next, Tsunade will replace your eyes," Uchiha-jun said. "Okay." Quan glanced at Tsunade and noticed that her chakra had recovered. She immediately knew that Uchiha-jun had used Distinguished Heavenly Gods on her. Because she knew that only when Uchiha-jun completely trusted Tsunade and treated her as her own, would he be able to remove all the shackles on her. 0. And let Uchiha-jun completely trust Tsunade. Only Distinguished Heavenly Gods can do it. "Shizune, Shion, you guys help get the medical tools," Uchiha-jun said. Understood. Soon, the girls took action. In the end, only Mikoto and Wooden Golem were left with Uchiha-jun. "And Mikoto, come and massage my shoulders." Uchiha-jun would naturally not leave them alone. After Quan, Tsunade and others left, Mikoto was immediately summoned. Understood. Mikoto responded. Naturally, he walked behind Uchiha-jun and started to massage him. The strength and technique were very good. Uchiha-jun felt refreshed from head to toe. However, this alone was not enough. He wanted to enjoy it twice. The next moment, Uchiha looked at Yu-kun's. Wooden Golem's heart trembled. His legs could not help but clamp together. Uchiha-jun looked at him and laughed. The famous two-tailed Jinchuriki Wooden Golem now looked at him like a saint seeing Columbus. He really played him to pieces. "Come here," Uchiha-jun said. "Hi." Next, Uchiha-jun didn't even need to speak, just a look and a move. Wooden Golem knew what Uchiha-jun wanted to do. Naturally, he cooperated obediently. He served Uchiha-jun comfortably. More than an hour later, the door of the secret room opened again. Tsunade helped Izumi, whose eyes were wrapped in black cloth, out of the secret room and came to Uchiha-jun. At this time, Wooden Golem and Mikoto had stopped their work. Standing behind Uchiha-jun, Uchiha-jun sat on the sofa in a neat and tidy manner. Beside him were Yugao, Shizune, Bufeng, and Buyuan. Fifth generation, the operation was successful. But although I helped to make some adjustments, whether the two pupil powers can finally merge depends on Izumi herself, Tsunade said. "Thank you for your hard work." Uchiha-jun nodded. Tsunade shook his head. "Izumi, how do you feel?" Uchiha-jun looked at Izumi, whose eyes were wrapped in black cloth, and asked with concern. "It feels good," Izumi said. "That's good, but after the operation, your eyes are inconvenient. Izumi, you should go back to your room and have a good rest," Uchiha-jun said. "Hi." After Quan went back to rest, Uchiha-jun brought Tsunade to the Hokage building. The staff in the Hokage building looked at Uchiha-jun with surprise. Unexpectedly, The Hokage, who had not come for many days and directly threw the work to the 4 consultants, came today. 5th Generation Master. Hello, 5th Generation Master. LT. Along the way, everyone saluted and greeted Uchiha Jun. Uchiha Jun smiled and nodded. Who is that? Uchiha Jun suddenly called a ninja dressed as a female clerk. 5th Generation Master, my name is Nara Kasumi Shika. What do you want me for? The female clerk heard Uchiha Jun's shout and hurried over here. Nara Kasumi Shika, a member of Shikaku's tribe. Uchiha Jun raised his eyebrows. Yes, 5th Generation Master, I am now the assistant of Shikaku's consultant. Nara Kasumi Shika responded quickly. It's just right, you go and inform the 4 advisors of Shikaku and ask them to come to the Hokage's office. Uchiha said. As a Hokage, even if he has something to do, he can't take the initiative to find his subordinates but let his subordinates come to him. Hi, Nara Kasumi Shika responded quickly. Immediately, he left in a hurry. Let's go to the Hokage's office. Uchiha Jun said to Tsunade. Hi, Tsunade responded. Hokage building. Uchiha Jun hugged Tsunade in his arms. A tease. Now Tsunade not only does not dislike this, but will even actively merge, wishing to merge herself into Uchiha Jun's body. This is also a new fun for Uchiha Jun. The fun of training and training again. The beauty actively throws herself into his arms and the fun of actively throwing herself into his arms. Not long after, there was a sudden knock on the door outside. Uchiha Jun and Tsunade stopped. After tidying up their clothes, Uchiha Jun said, "Come in." As the door of the Hokage's office opened, Uchiha Satsuna, Shikaku, Hiashi, Kakashi, the 4 giants, walked into the Hokage's office one after another. When they saw Tsunade standing next to Uchiha Jun, it was a surprise. The 5th generation actually brought Tsunade-sama come over. What is going on? Shikaku and the others didn't know what Uchiha Jun wanted to do, so they didn't express their thoughts. 5th generation, you're looking for us? Uchiha Satsuna asked first. That's right, Uchiha Jun nodded. It's been a while since I came to the Hokage building, and I haven't paid much attention to Konoha's affairs recently. It just so happens that I have time now, so I came to take a look and learn about Konoha's situation by the way. You are quite self-aware. The 4 of them secretly complained in their hearts. Immediately reported to Uchiha Jun. Starting from Shikaku. Shikaku immediately reported to Uchiha Jun the situation in various parts of the Land of Fire and the progress of clearing out the vassal nobles. Then, he told Uchiha Jun about the civil service examination. The first batch of selected civil servants have taken office. The second round of examinations is being prepared. In addition, Shikamaru solemnly reported to Uchiha Jun the new development of Konoha. Shikaku believes that Konoha has become the center of the Land of Fire. The old Konoha has become backward and narrow. It needs to expand outward and build new cities. And handed the expansion map of the new Konoha to Uchiha Jun for viewing. Uchiha Jun, after reading it, he was very satisfied and agreed directly. Because this map not only shows the expansion of the new city area, it also includes his palace. After all, Uchiha Jun is now the only one in the Land of Fire. He is in charge of military and political affairs. In the future, he will be the king and establish a system. In this way, a magnificent building is naturally needed to set off his status. And his palace was built on the open space above the Hokage Rock. It covers an area of more than 1,000 acres. It is far larger than the daimyo's mansion. Even compared with the Forbidden City in the previous life, it is not much different. After that, Shikaku reported countless things, big and small, to Uchiha Jun. Uchiha Jun listened, gave suggestions and made decisions from time to time. After Shikaku finished his report, it was already 2 hours later. Then it was Uchiha Satsuna's turn. He mainly talked about the taxation problem of the Land of Fire. Through Uchiha Satsuna's report, Uchiha Jun knew that the tax collectors in the tax department were even more scarce than government officials. In this regard, Uchiha Jun just comforted him and said, "This is only temporary and will be fine soon." He even asked his tax department to conduct multiple civil service examinations. There is no need to put it together with Shikaku's government officials. Uchiha Satsuna naturally nodded repeatedly. Uchiha Satsuna's report took about 40 minutes. Then it was Hiyashi. He also reported to Uchiha-jun about the security problem of the Land of Fire. With Uchiha-jun's original proposal. During this period, Hiyashi recruited many samurai. It really greatly alleviated the problem of the lack of ninjas. However, there is another problem. That is the bandits. As the Land of Fire was conquered, after Konoha began to comprehensively wipe out the nobles, the entire Land of Fire was in chaos. At this time, the number of people who chose to become bandits suddenly increased countless times. It was okay in the big cities. Those bandits did not dare to go to the big cities to act recklessly. But they began to madly harm those small villages. For a time, I don't know how many people suffered. Moreover, Konoha now comprehensively wiped out the nobles of the Land of Fire. There were no extra ninjas to do the missions. Therefore, Konoha simply stopped accepting missions from the outside. After all, there were already national taxes. Still making money from missions. Is it low? Therefore, the villagers could not do anything about those bandits for a while. After Uchiha-jun heard Hiyashi's report, there was a moment of silence. Then he looked at Kakashi. Kakashi, how many wandering ninjas have we recruited? We have recruited nearly 600 people. Among them, there are 3 with Jonin strength. There are 118 with Chunin strength, and the rest are all Genin level. At this time, they are still receiving loyalty training. They have not been assigned yet. Kakashi said. Really? Uchiha-jun nodded. In that case, let's take this opportunity to train the soldiers. Hiyashi, Kakashi, who of you is willing to lead the wandering ninjas to suppress the bandits? Uchiha asked. Hiyashi and Kakashi looked at each other. 5th generation master, I'll go. Hiyashi took the initiative to say. Kakashi nodded beside him. In that case, Hiyashi, you go. Uchiha-jun nodded. Yes, 5th generation, I promise to complete the mission. Hiyashi patted his chest and promised. Not only must we complete the mission, but we must also do it quickly. After defeating the bandits, we will take these wandering ninjas to deal with those nobles. The progress of clearing out those nobles is still too slow, and we must speed up. Uchiha-jun looked at Shikaku and said. Yes, Shikaku nodded. Kakashi, continue to recruit wandering ninjas. Uchiha-jun said. Yes, Kakashi said. Kakashi, do you have anything to report? Uchiha-jun looked at everyone and finally settled on Kakashi. No, Kakashi said simply. Okay, Uchiha-jun was speechless. As consultants, the other 3 had to report one by one, but Kakashi didn't even say a word. That's good enough. In that case, let me say a few more words. Uchiha-jun said. The 4 of them listened attentively. I've decided to add another advisor. Swish. The 4 of them all looked at Tsunade. Yes, it's Tsunade. Do you have any objections to this? Uchiha-jun asked. No, Shikaku, Hiyashi, and Kakashi responded quickly. But Uchiha Satsuna hesitated. Elder Satsuna, do you have any questions? Uchiha-jun asked. No. After thinking about it, Uchiha Satsuna finally did not express his concerns in public. Since everyone has no objection, let's do it. Uchiha-jun said. The reason why he chose Tsunade as the 5th advisor. In addition to Tsunade's absolute loyalty to him. In fact, he also wanted to ease the internal atmosphere of Konoha. Although, Uchiha-jun went through this series of battles, won consecutive battles, and secured the position of Hokage. The prestige also surpassed the 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen in a short period of time. However, the people in the village fear him more than respect him. In addition, some people are afraid that Uchiha-jun will settle accounts with those who once opposed him. Now, he let Tsunade be an advisor, which is equivalent to sending a signal. Forget the past. In the future, as long as everyone does not make trouble and does not oppose me, the Hokage. As long as you have the ability, even if you want to be an official or want to get promoted, it is not impossible. Seeing you, I suddenly have an idea. Uchiha-jun smiled faintly. What idea? Shikaku and others said with a blank face. You happen to be 5 people. From now on, call us 5 elders, 5 elders. Uchiha-jun suddenly spoofed. 5 elders. This name sounds quite impressive. Hiyashi muttered to himself. 5th generation adults gave this name. hoping that we can become the pillars that can relieve the king's worries. Shikaku said with a grin. Almost, that's what I mean. Uchiha Jun smiled. I like this name. From now on, we will be the 5 elders. Hiashi smiled with satisfaction. In that case, let's officially assign the work of the 5 elders. Shikaku, from now on you will be one of the 5 elders ministers of political affairs. Elder Setsuna, from now on you will be one of the 5 elders ministers of finance. Hiashi, from now on you will be one of the 5 elders ministers of public security and defense. Kakashi, from now on you will be one of the 5 elders ministers of logistics. Tsunade, from now on you will be one of the 5 elders ministers of justice. Uchiha Jun smiled. Hi. The 5 people responded in unison. I have a question. Tsunade suddenly raised his hand and asked. What's the question? Uchiha Jun asked. What is the so-called Minister of Justice mainly responsible for? Tsunade asked. The other 4 people heard what Tsunade said and immediately became interested. Uchiha Jun glanced at Tsunade and then at the other 4 people. With a faint smile, he said, everyone, now is different from the past. In the past, we only had 1 Konoha and didn't need to spend any time. Now the entire land of fire is under our jurisdiction, and we have a lot to do. Quote. Among them, supervising officials, investigating their violations of duty and crimes, and maintaining their integrity are very important. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is related to the rise and fall of the country, life and death. Tsunade, after you take office as the Minister of Justice, you will select a group of elites and form the inspection department to monitor the work style of all officials in the country. In addition, you will be my secretary part-time. In the future, if there is anything, you will be the one to convey it to me. Is there any problem? Uchiha Jun smiled. No problem. Tsunade looked enlightened. The 4 consultants next to him took a breath of cold air. The Minister of Justice as the Secretary of the Hokage part-time. Tsunade has come from behind. He jumped directly on their heads. Maybe he will even manage them. That, 5th generation adults. At this time, Hiashi spoke. What's the matter? Uchiha Jun asked. Can the Ministry of Justice of Lord Tsunade monitor as 5 elders? Hiashi asked. This question is crucial. If they can, then they will really have to act according to Tsunade's mood in the future. The other people also looked at Uchiha Jun. You 5 are equal in status. The Ministry of Justice naturally cannot control you. Even the Ministry of Justice will not control the affairs of ninjas. Unless those ninjas are working in local governments. As for you, if you commit a crime, only Anbu will come to your door. Uchiha Jun smiled faintly. Good, I see, that's good. Several people secretly breathed a sigh of relief. As long as they are not controlled by the Ministry of Justice. As for Anbu, they are not afraid of Anbu begging. Anbu's power is indeed great. But Anbu is the knife in Uchiha Jun's hand, and generally will not target them. Because, Anbu's arrival means that Uchiha Jun is going to take action against them. Any other questions? Uchiha Jun asked. 5th generation, I have another question. At this time, Old Foot said. What question? As the Minister of Public Security and Defense, do I directly manage all the ninjas in Konoha? As soon as Hiashi finished speaking, everyone looked at Hiashi. A flash of surprise flashed in his eyes. You kid, you are quite ambitious. You think too much. Uchiha Jun glanced at Hiashi. You are responsible for the public security management of the major cities in the Land of Fire. So, you are really in charge of only a few ninjas and those samurai. Of course, if necessary, you can naturally mobilize other ninjas after you get my warrant. Uchiha Jun smiled. Yes, Hiashi responded, a little disappointed. I thought I was the generalissimo who commanded the world's troops. In the end, I was just a public security minister. Don't you have any other questions? Uchiha Jun glanced at everyone and continued to ask. Setsuna, Shikaku, and Kakashi shook their heads. Because they all knew where their power was. Kakashi, do your own work well. Don't give it to others. They also have their things to do. Uchiha Jun reminded Kakashi. After Uchiha Jun established the 5 elders, he naturally wanted to divide all the power. We can't let them mess around anymore. Yes, Kakashi said sternly. At this time, he already understood what Uchiha Jun meant and quickly responded. Alas, it seems that I can't be lazy in the future. Okay, that's all I want to say about. If you have nothing to do, then disband. Chixiang said. Shikaku, Hiashi, and Kakashi turned around and left. Only Setsuna remained in the Hokage's office. Tsunade, you go out first. Uchiha Jun looked at Uchiha Setsuna, who didn't leave, and naturally knew what he wanted to say. However, there were some things that needed to be made clear to Setsuna. So, Uchiha Jun let Tsunade go out first. Understood, Tsunade responded. Then he turned and walked out of the Hokage's office. Fifth generation, what's going on with the national champion? Before, she was in cahoots with Danzo and rebelled against us. You even killed her longtime companion Jiraiya. It's only been a short time, and you let her be the Minister of Justice. Can she be trusted? What if she stabs you in the back that day? Not only will you be hurt, but our Konoha and even the entire land of fire may fall into turmoil. The moment the door closed, Setsuna asked. Elder Setsuna is relieved. Uchiha Jun was not at all surprised by what Uchiha Setsuna was going to say. He said confidently, since I dared to hand over the power to Tsunade, I am absolutely sure that she will not betray me. Elder Setsuna, you should know that I haven't seen outsiders these days. Uchiha said in a deep voice. I know, Setsuna nodded. Before, I was fusing Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Jun said. Successful. Setsuna's pupils shrank suddenly. As the great elder of the Uchiha clan, he knew too well what this meant. Once successful, the Uchiha clan is equivalent to having another Uchiha Madara. And now, there is no strong man like Senju Hashirama to check and balance Uchiha Jun. With Uchiha Jun, the Uchiha clan will surely prosper for another 50 years. When he thought of this, Uchiha Setsuna couldn't help but tremble with excitement. Successful, Uchiha Jun said. Ha ha ha, good, 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 it's great. Jun, Uchiha is so lucky to have you. In this era without Senju Hashirama. With the eternal Mangekyo, you are enough to sweep the world. Our Uchiha clan will reach the peak because of you. Setsuna said excitedly. I said before that it is our duty to revive the glory of the Uchiha clan. I said so and did so. With me here, Fangzia will definitely reach a higher height. Uchiha smiled. With your words, I have no regrets even if I die now. Uchiha Setsuna said with tears in his eyes. Don't talk about death all the time, listen to me first. Uchiha Jun said. Okay, you say. Uchiha Setsuna smiled in a very good mood. After fusing Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan, I got a new eye technique. It's called Distinguished Heavenly Gods. Does Elder Setsuna know what the ability of Distinguished Heavenly Gods is? DAFB, what is it? Uchiha Setsuna really doesn't know what the ability of Distinguished Heavenly Gods is. Because, although he is the great elder of Uchiha, but he didn't open the Mangekyo Sharingan after all. He was still relatively unfamiliar with the ability of the Mangekyo Sharingan. Except for Susanoo, the others were only learned recently from Uchiha Jun, Itachi, Fugaku, Hara and others. Moreover, the family did not record in detail the abilities of the various Mangekyo Sharingan. So, it was not surprising that he didn't know. It is to control, modify, and manipulate the will of others. Uchiha Jun said. Hiss. Uchiha Setsuna gasped on the spot. There are such terrible eyes in the world. Sharingan is the eye of the soul. For us Uchiha clan, everything is possible. Uchiha Jun laughed. Well said. Setsuna laughed, and then seemed to think of something, and couldn't help but sneered. This may also be the cause of Shisui's death. The great elder is wise, and he thought of the key to Shisui's death in an instant. Uchiha Jun smiled faintly. It's not hard to guess this. Shisui, like Itachi, leans towards Konoha. He awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan and didn't tell us, the clan members. But he is very likely to tell the Konoha high-level officials represented by Sarutobi Hiruzen. I know the character of those high-level officials headed by Sarutobi Hiruzen very well. They say nice things, but they are completely hypocritical. They are afraid of death and their desire for power is huge. When they know that Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan can manipulate and modify the will of others, how could they let Shisui live? At this moment, no matter whether Shisui is sincere or fake, the high-level officials of Konoha will definitely kill him. Because they have already felt the threat from Shisui. Even if there is only a 1 in 10,000 chance. But, they are still unwilling to take this risk. Clap. After Setsuna finished speaking, Uchiha-jun couldn't help but clap his hands on the spot. Elder Setsuna, your reasoning is so correct. Uchiha-jun praised. It's ridiculous that Shisui naively wanted to use distinguished heavenly gods to manipulate Fugaku and make him change his mind about the coup. In the end, he didn't do it yet. Danzo attacked him. HMPH, Danzo deserves death, Shisui deserves death too. Setsuna snorted. Immediately asked, so, 5th generation, you used distinguished heavenly gods to control Tsunade? Yes, Uchiha-jun nodded. If that's the case, then there's no problem. As a member of the Uchiha clan, Setsuna has never doubted whether distinguished heavenly gods can really control a person's will and thinking forever. Elder Setsuna, aren't you afraid that I will abuse distinguished heavenly gods? Uchiha-jun asked with a half-smile. Why should I be afraid? Setsuna was startled, and then laughed. You are both the head of the Uchiha clan and the 5th Hokage. Whoever you want loyalty from, just take it. Including you. Uchiha-jun laughed. Including me. Uchiha Setsuna nodded firmly. Hehe, I'm just kidding you. Uchiha-jun smiled and shook his head. But I'm serious, Uchiha Setsuna said. This is what Uchiha Setsuna really thinks. Even if Uchiha-jun wants to use distinguished heavenly gods on him, he won't resist. After all, he is submitting to a person who can take him to a higher position and a broader sky. Why resist? Elder Setsuna's fruit is a pure heart. Uchiha-jun smiled faintly. The two chatted for a while. Uchiha Setsuna just left the Hokage's office. As soon as Setsuna left, Tsunade walked into the Hokage's office. Tsunade, come here, we haven't played here before. It's just right, let's take this opportunity. Have a good experience. Time flies. 5 days passed. Izumi had the help of Tsunade. After resolving several rejections, after a few days of adaptation. Now he has finally evolved into the Eternal Mangekyo. Izumi's Susanoo is pink. On the day when the Eternal Mangekyo evolved successfully, she took Uchiha-jun outside Konoha and tried it. There is a gap between Izumi's Susanoo and Uchiha-jun's. However, the power is not bad either. At least, it is much stronger than in the original book. When Sasuke just evolved the Eternal Eye. After Izumi evolved the Eternal Mangekyo. Another half a month passed. Hiashi led 100 Konoha shinobi and more than 600 wandering ninjas. They began to frantically sweep away the mountain bandits. So, in silence, one mountain stronghold after another was destroyed and burned. In just half a month. It was difficult to find a mountain stronghold or a bandit's nest in the area controlled by Konoha. After sweeping away the bandits and mountain bandits, Hiashi immediately led the wandering ninjas to the front line to clear out the nobles. Let them join the fight. In addition, more than half a month later, Kakashi recruited another group of wandering ninjas, and after a short training, they were also sent to the front line. With the addition of these wandering ninjas, the ninjas of Konoha began to speed up the attack. For a time, all the nobles who resisted were beaten to pieces. Time flies. 3 months have passed. The nobles in the Land of Fire were completely wiped out. The Land of Fire fell completely into the control of Konoha. Controlled by Uchiha-jun. After Konoha unified the Land of Fire, they temporarily stopped using the military. Continuously imposed internal control. At the same time, they were also training ninjas in an all-round way. At this time, the turmoil in the ninja world had just begun. After seeing Konoha completely control the Land of Fire, the 3 major ninja villages showed their wealth and control over the entire country. The rebellious heart that had been stirring for a long time could no longer be suppressed. They directly launched an attack on the daimyo's mansion. In the words of someone, what Konoha can do, I can do too. The authority that Uchiha-jun has, I must also have. Sunagakur, I was the first to jump out. Under the leadership of Rasa, Sand Shinobi tried their best to attack the Wind Capital. Although the daimyo of the Wind Country had long been on guard against Rasa. But, with the little strength he had, how could he stop Rasa? In less than 3 days, the Wind Capital was breached. The daimyo's palace in the Kingdom of Wind was breached. 300 ninjas were killed. 100,000 samurai were killed and captured. The once high and mighty daimyo of Wind Country now became a prisoner of Rasa. Rasa had disliked this daimyo for a long time, cutting military spending year after year, blocking him here and there. As a result, he, the Wind Shadow, had to work part-time as a gold digger, digging for gold in the desert to supplement the village. See you again now. The identities of both parties have changed drastically. The daimyo of Wind Country begged Rasa to let him go. However, Rasa not only did not let him go, he even used the wind industry's torture of 10 exposure to the sun on him. The daimyo of Wind Country was tied to a tall cross by the ninja of Sunagakur. From morning to night, from night to morning, in less than 2 days, the daimyo of Wind Country died tragically under the alternating influence of the two extreme temperature differences of exposure to the sun and the cold night. After the daimyo died, Sand Shinobi did not free him. Instead, he let him continue to be tied to it. After a while, the daimyo of Wind Country was completely dried up. Every time someone passed by here and saw this corpse, they couldn't help but sigh. After Sand Shinobi successfully overthrew the rule of the daimyo of Wind Country, he also followed Konoha and began to confiscate the rich and powerful nobles. For a while, he made a lot of money. The other two ninja villages were watching and couldn't calm down. They started to revolt. First, the third Tsuchikage Onoki attacked the Earth capital. Then the fifth Raikage Darui led the Cloud Shinobi to attack the Thunder capital. And other small countries also followed suit. For a while, the whole world was in chaos. In this regard, Uchiha Jun and the senior officials of Konoha ignored it. Instead, they continued to practice internal skills and strengthen themselves. In a blink of an eye, half a year passed. Konoha has completely controlled the Fire Country. The number of ninjas also increased to a huge number of 50,000 in a short period of time. Although, more than 30,000 have just practiced chakra. But, Uchiha Jun has already counted them as ninjas. In addition to ninjas, Uchiha Jun also let Hiyashi recruit a full 250,000 samurai corps. It can be said that they are strong and powerful. At the same time, after 9 months of expansion, Konoha has expanded a whole circle. The population exceeds 2 million. The streets are crowded with people and cars. It can be said to be extremely prosperous. It is already a world-famous city. In addition, the palace on Hokage Rock has finally been built after 9 months, hundreds of ninjas, and hundreds of thousands of migrant workers working together. It was finally completed. This day, it was cloudless. It was refreshing. Uchiha Jun led the Uchiha clan to the South Shrine. Worship the ancestors of the Uchiha clan. Then he brought the 5 elders and a group of Konoha's high-level officials to the Taihei Hall of the palace to hold the coronation ceremony. Although, Uchiha Jun did not know much about the coronation ceremony of ancient Chinese emperors. But, he tried to do it as he remembered. Anyway, in this world, no one could say that he was so out of place. From today on, I, Uchiha Jun, am the emperor of the Land of Fire. Uchiha Jun specially wore a crown today. As he said that, he waved his hand. He looked very regal. Your Majesty, I bow to you. Long live the Emperor. Stand up. Thank you, Your Majesty. After the coronation ceremony was completed, Uchiha Jun entertained all the ministers and would not leave until they were drunk. That night, countless fireworks bloomed in the sky above Konoha. At the same time, countless businesses took advantage of the great day of Uchiha Jun's coronation to launch a wave of promotions. They made a lot of money. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.